A very good morning, everyone. I hope all of you are doing good. I'm doing quite good. A very good morning. A huge welcome to each one of you, each one of our dear candidates in this lecture on CSAT reading comprehension. As you know, for today's weekend batch, Sunday class, Sunday session, we are once again taking up the most sought after, the most popular topic from UPSC prelims, and that is the reading comprehension of CSAT exam. My huge welcome to each one of you who's joining us now, and a very good morning. Yes, absolutely. We are beginning with the weekend session right now. And now we are going to have the first lecture on CSAT comprehension. Absolutely true. All right then. Once again, a good morning, have a wonderful, bright day, and a huge welcome to each one of you, my dear. Now, as you can see on your screen, today's agenda, starting from now up till 7:30 to 8 p.m., we are going to talk about UPSC prelims exam. What about prelims exam? Now, you know that in UPSC prelims exam, you will have two objective type papers, two objective exams, isn't it? Now, talking about the first exam, that's going to be GS paper 1. You all know about GS paper 1. GS paper 1 consisting of your current affairs and your general knowledge and your general studies is one part of prelims exam, objective type. But another part of prelims exam is going to be the GS paper 2. And this GS paper 2 is also known as Civil Services Aptitude Test or the CSAT exam. And this is exactly what we are going to talk about today. So today we will try to have 3 lectures. We'll try to finish 3 sessions. And no, I am not going to take math. I'm not going to take aptitude or reasoning. I am taking reasoning, but I'm taking verbal reasoning. I won't be taking non-verbal reasoning. A lot of people believe that CSAT has English also. When you ask them, where is this English in CSAT? And all of them will tell you, English means reading comprehension. Now, unfortunately, little do we understand that comprehension questions in CSAT exam are nothing to do with English language or Hindi language or French or Latin, any other language. It is not a part of language as such, not at all. It is just a part of reasoning. Now, CSAT paper is a complete aptitude paper. Now, look at the name Civil Services Aptitude Test, which means that all they are going to judge is your aptitude, nothing else. Nothing else. Then why do they give you comprehension passages? Because reasoning can be variety of questions. Reasoning can come from diverse topics. You can have something which is referred to as verbal reasoning, like you are seeing here, comprehension. Sometimes you have the non-verbal reasoning where you see number series or questions that are based on data or questions that are based on blood relationships, questions that are based on designs or diagrams. So reasoning can have diverse kind of questions, and comprehension again is absolutely a part of reasoning. Then why do a lot of people tell you that it is a part of language? That's because it is coming in the form of a paragraph. So you have a choice. If you are an English medium student, if you have chosen English as your medium of writing, you will see these passages in English. And those who have opted for Hindi are going to take up these passages in Hindi. So it is not a question of Hindi or English, it's just a question of which language can you understand. But all we need to know is that comprehension is as much reasoning as your mathematics. It is nothing less than that. That's one thing. So if you feel that my vocabulary is not very good, my command over English language is not very good, Does that mean I will have a problem in comprehension? No, you will not have. Because these passages will not judge your vocabulary. They will not judge your command over English language. They will not judge your grammar. They will not judge whether you can understand difficult English. Not at all. They will only judge one thing, and that's the mystery of today's lecture. What is that one thing? Is something that we are going to talk about now. Yes, absolutely. If you are writing the exam in Hindi medium, your passages will be in Hindi, my dear. Yes, sweetheart, I have checked your mail. I will reply to you. Now, positively by Tuesday. I promise you. I'm so sorry for the delay, my dear. I have your mail. I have it. I have it. Or let me do it during the break itself today, okay? All right. I will share my mail ID as well. Don't worry at all. So, now coming back to today's agenda. Let's begin then with UPSC Prelims Exam GS Paper 2. Okay, we can talk about it. You just drop me a mail, madam. Now, talking about UPSC Prelims Exam GS Paper 2, called as CSAT or Civil Services Aptitude Test. Please be very clear. Be very clear that it is a very critical part of your UPSC prelims, but this is only a qualifying paper. Now, be very clear with this. When you talk about UPSC prelims, you all know that there are two papers that will be coming. One is GS paper 1, but the marks that you get in GS paper 1 will be added to your final. But when you talk about UPSC prelims, GS paper 2, then the marks that you get in GS paper 2 or CSAT, these marks will not be added to your final score. Not at all. Why? Because CSAT is a qualifying paper only. What do we mean by a qualifying paper? So I can see your comment. Absolutely, I can. Okay? I can see all the comments. And whether you want to take notes, it's absolutely your wish. I would never recommend that you should take notes. It's completely up to you. Everything right here is noted down in the PDF. Should you feel that any annotation is important for you, you want to write it down, go ahead. You want to take a screenshot, go ahead. It's up to you. All you need to know is that you should remember everything we spoke about in the class. Because we talk so many things in the class. We talk about so many things. But a majority of these things that we talk about will actually matter a lot when you start writing this exam. Because here and there we keep talking about important things. So please take down a screenshot or you can write down. It's your wish. There's nothing compulsory from my side. Yes. Now talking about the nature of CSAT exam. As I said, CSAT is only a qualifying paper, which means that the marks that you get in CSAT, my dear, they will not be added in your final score or your ranking. Let's be sure about that. Does that mean CSAT is less important? Now, this is where most people make a mistake. It is very contra-intuitive. Very contra-intuitive. A lot of people argue, a lot of students argue that if CSAT is only a qualifying exam, if we only have to pass in this paper, if we don't need to score very high in this paper, does that mean that we can take this paper lightly? Oh, it is so easy. But that's a big mistake. Why? Because UPSC has made it in such a way. UPSC has designed the CSAT in such a complex way that for those students who are not preparing enough, for those students who are taking it very lightly. Now, let me tell you a very shocking reality, okay? This is like a reality check for you. You will not like it, but it's a reality. Now, as per the official estimates, every year, only about 25 to 35% of candidates are passing the CSAT exam. Can you believe this? So the passing rate in CSAT is abysmally low. It's very, very low. A majority of students who are doing very well, they're performing excellent in GS paper 1. They unfortunately are not passing the prelims. They fail in the prelims because of CSAT. How do you justify this? So, which means that on the one hand, it is a qualifying paper, but on the other hand, we cannot take this lightly at all. We cannot afford to be negligent, as you're saying, towards the paper. So, what should we do? So, let's do some kind of myth busting about the paper first and understand the structure of the paper first. Then we shall proceed with comprehension. Okay? Now, there is like somebody likes red color, somebody likes yellow color. I get super confused. I will be a dictator from now on. I will use blue. All right, I hope you like it. Now, till now, what did we speak about? We just said that in UPSC prelims, there is a GS paper 2 called CSAT. It's a purely aptitude test. So from today onwards, kindly never believe anybody who tells you that you have to study English. You have to have a very good grammar for CSAT. Your vocabulary should be very good. Let's study dictionary. Let's study a vocabulary book. No, all that is a myth. That's a nonsense. CSAT is not about English or Hindi. It's only about aptitude. Be very sure about that. Yeah, you don't need to be like Shashi Tharoor or any other, super duper talented writer or speaker. It's not like that. It's all aptitude. One thing. Second thing. Yes, I will. Second thing. CSAT is only a qualifying paper. Why is it a qualifying paper? Because in the CSAT exam, aptitude exam, you will get 80 questions. Remember, please, 80 questions will be coming in the CSAT paper or the aptitude paper. These are all multiple choice questions. Multiple choice questions? Questions where you will be given four options always. A, B, C, D. You have to select the right answer by picking any one of these or by marking any one of these. A typical MCQ question, multiple choice variety, objective question, 80 questions total. For these 80 questions, you will be given 200 marks, which means that 80 questions here will totally carry a weightage of 200 marks. The CSAT exam is a 200-mark exam. I'll talk about it. If there are 80 questions and there are 200 marks, then broadly it means that every question in CSAT, every question in the civil services aptitude test will carry about 2.5 mark. It's a heavy weight, my dear. It's a heavy weight per question, 2.5 mark per correct answer. So if you get one answer right or one question correct, you will get positive 2.5 marks. How much time will you be given? A period of 2 hours. 1 second, ma'am. 1 second, sir. I'll come to that. You will be given a total period of 2 hours to do these 80 questions here. Every question 2.5 marks. How many do you need to get? How many marks do you need to fetch to pass this paper? Well, 66. So you will pass 100% if you get 66 out of 200. Now, the reaction to this is very mixed. Very mixed. For some people, this is nothing. Oh, it's so easy. 66 anybody will get. For some other people, no, no, no. The paper is very difficult. It's very difficult to get 66. For some people, they are still confused. Is it easy to get the 66 or is it not so difficult? Well, I would say neither is it impossibly tough, nor is it like a cakewalk. Absolutely, I believe in the middle path when you talk about UPSC, and I think it really leads to success. This whole idea of a middle path, the Buddha path. It is definitely not very, very tough, but at the same time, it will be tough if you are not prepared for it. With a decent amount of practice, I am not saying with a Bahubali kind of practice, I'm saying with a decent amount of practice, you can definitely sail through. You can get 66 and above. It is happening, it will happen to you. But preparation is the key here. What kind of preparation? Yes, that's why we are here. We will talk about everything. But now, when I say that there are 2 hours given to you and every right answer will get you 2.5 marks, this is a very valid question coming from some of my sweethearts, my dear students. That Is there negative marking? Yes, there is. Now, there is a negative marking also. This is UPSC after all, you know. There is a negative marking also. What kind of negative marking? So, for every correct question, you get 2.5 marks. For every wrong answer, one third of 2.5 will get cut, which means 0.83 marks will get deducted. You lose 0.83 mark per wrong answer. It could be a small mark, but at the same time, if it gets accumulated, if in a row, if repeatedly you make mistakes, say 10 wrong, 20 wrong, 30 wrong, then what's going to happen? This 0.83 will add, and then the chances of getting pass is very tough, my dear, very tough. So in that case, always remember rule number one. It's better. It's better to leave a question rather than do a wrong or a casual guesswork. If you do not know a question, please leave it. Let it be. Unless you're too sure, because accuracy here is the key. In the CSAT exam, more than knowing everything, it's important to understand that being accurate is a much better thing to do. Much better thing. That's second thing. Now, the third thing to remember, my dear, is that when I say you have to solve 80 questions in 2 hours, I don't exactly mean that you have to solve 80 questions. That's not what I'm saying. Nobody, really nobody, is going to solve all 80. Nobody can do that. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. So, what do we do then? We need to be sure that even if we have attempted 55 to 60 questions, what we need to work upon is accuracy. Accuracy is the key here. That's very critical. So, whenever you solve a question, it's better to give it a little extra time and be sure about it rather than doing more questions and not being sure about whether you have been accurate or not. Right? So, either you know it absolutely or you don't know it. There is nothing in between that I may have it correct or I may not know it. That's not going to work here. Now, coming back to the content of the paper. What kind of questions come in the CSAT exam? What kind of questions? Now, CSAT is a paper which I said is the civil services aptitude paper, correct? Which means that there are multiple kind of aptitude questions that are asked from you. For example, one is mental ability or numerical ability. Simply, you will be asked math questions. When we say numerical ability, you know that there are multiple questions of mathematics. Yeah. Say, for example, speed, distance, time, or work and time, or percentage, probability, and averages, and ratio proportions, and whatever. Hail R.S. Agarwal. Hail Dr. R.S. Agarwal. The book of R.S. Agarwal is the most popular among our students. Otherwise, please have a look at the syllabus. You will come to know what all math questions are expected from you, right? All of that will come. That's called proper maths or numerical ability. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Okay. That's a common sentiment. I hate it. Okay. Now, the next thing is that apart from numerical ability, there will be questions on general aptitude. Now, general aptitude could mean that sometimes they give you questions based on data. They will give you data, you have to do the interpretation of data, bar graph or pie chart or anything. And then you have to solve questions on that. Once again, numerical ability. Apart from that, you are given questions like statement assertion. They will give you some statements and they will give you assertions, quite like GS paper 1 prelims. You have to see which assertion and statement match each other, which don't match each other, and you have to choose the right answer. Once again, that can be non-verbal. Right? Now, beyond this, they can ask you certain questions like number series is very common. Questions based on clock and calendars are very common. Apart from all these, the most decisive, the most heavy weighted, the most hated, despised, the most gossipy, the most, what do you say, hot and spicy kind of topic here happens to be reading comprehension for some reason. Okay. So we can say that CSAT exam is a mix and match of these questions. You will get a variety of each. Maths would be there, logical reasoning would be there, data interpretation obviously would be there, statement assertion would be there, but everybody comes to a screeching halt when it comes to reading comprehension. Now, this is very bad. I agree that I hate maths, but reading comprehension, ugh, it's like a somebody is doing a black magic on me. It's that bad. It's like a doomsday. Like that's the kind of reaction you get from most students. Reading comprehension, oh my god, I'd rather do math than do this thing. This is hateable. It's so unpredictable. We don't know these passages. Okay, they are very weird, they are bizarre. What language are they using? They only know. What the passage is trying to say, they only know. If the passage is easy, question is tough. That's the common reaction. Rarely have I heard people saying that, ma'am, I like comprehension, I enjoy comprehension, at least not before the lecture. I've never heard that. Okay, this is a unique comment. It's easy. Normally people don't say that. People say it's weird, it's tough. Okay, right. Yeah, decision making, all of these are mixed up here. Okay. Yeah. So now ultimately the most sought after and popular topic comes to be reading comprehension. Agreed. But there is one more reason why reading comprehension is such an important part of this paper. You might ask that if there are 80 questions and out of these 80 questions, a variety of topics are coming. Maths is coming, reasoning is coming, data is coming, decision is coming, statements are coming, clock and calendar is coming, and so much is coming, then why are we running behind reading comprehension? All right, done, madam, I'll do that. Then why are we focusing so much only on reading comprehension? There is a reason for that also. Let me show you the reason quickly. Now, here is the reason for you, my dear. Here is the reason pretty much. So, when we say that reading comprehension is a very critical aspect of this exam, there is a logical reason behind that. The reason is right here in front of you. CSAT exam was introduced in 2011. Before that, we had no CSAT really. We used to have two GS papers, optional exam. But we never had CSAT. CSAT came in 2011, but from the time CSAT has come until the last exam you had, that was 2023. Every year we are witnessing a trend that out of total 80 questions of the CSAT exam, majority of them, more than one third of the exam, is always composed of CSAT RC. Comprehension is the one that's ruling it. I'll write it here. Comprehension rules. More than one third of the CSAT paper every year is comprising CSAT RC. Comprehension, comprehension, and comprehension. And that's the reason why we say that, my dear, it is difficult to pass CSAT successfully without comprehension. Unless you are brilliant in maths, unless you are excellent and very accurate with clock and calendar, statement assertion, data interpretation is easy, I agree. Apart from that, reasoning, if you are perfect in them, if your accuracy is like 100%, in that case, you may say that I don't want to work very hard on comprehension, and that's fine. I have no issues there. But when you say that the level of CSAT paper after 2015 has constantly become more difficult, it's true. In that case, what I would say is that unless you are 100% accurate with maths and reasoning, there is no logic in not working hard towards comprehension. Because by avoiding comprehension, you're taking a big risk out there. Now, look at this chart here. Once. That's why we are here, sir. Look at this chart here once. 2011 was when you had 27 questions out of 80 from reading comprehension. All right. That's the first year of CSAT. Coming to 2012 and 2013, the number rose to almost 32. So you imagine 32 out of 80 is like a massive number. Literally about half the paper was comprehension. You see the weightage. Come forward. Let's proceed with it. Things were going fine until suddenly 2015 came. Now 2015 was when the pattern of the exam changed a little bit. So therefore, 2015 is something that I call as the year of great divide in CSAT exam. Why? Why like that? Why is 2015 such a remarkable period in the history of CSAT? That's because the nature of comprehension passages suddenly changed. They started changing the pattern of reading comprehension. And how did they do that? Now, very interestingly, you will realize, sir, and madams, and my dear, that after 2015, suddenly what changed is that on the one hand, on the one hand, the number of questions suddenly came a little down. They started giving you questions, not 32, but from 26 to 30. In between that, it was fluctuating. But on the other hand, the level of difficulty suddenly shot up. Talking about passages, the length of the passages got very small. Now, before 2015, the CSAT RC passages were very long. When you check the brief 2015 exam, you will realize that passages were long, but the questions were easy. It was a normal strategy. So students would come and complain that, ma'am, the question was very easy, but the passage was so lengthy that I did not have the time to finish all of them. I just couldn't do that. 20 lines every passage, 15 lines of one passage. That was insane. That was too long. 2015, they changed it. What did they do now? They reduced the length of the passages. They started giving you small passages rather than long passages, but the twist was that the level of questions became very tough. That's why 2015 is a year of the great divide. Yes, yes, that's why I'm here. I have to make you master CSAT. I have to make you master comprehension. That's why I'm here. That's why you are here. When I am there, why are you worried? I'm there for you, right? Don't worry at all. Let's just understand some things first. Okay. Now, after 2015, the length of the passages came down. The passages became small and very small. But consequentially, the difficulty level of the questions shot up. They were very tough. The passage was so small, 4 line. But the question, impossible to understand. The passage became 6 line, but the question, what are they talking about? We don't. Latin, French, Greek. We don't understand anything. This is the common sentiment after 2015. So this is why after 2015 you will realize that qualifying for CSAT has become a big deal. Everyone is like, it's so difficult. It becomes a discouraging factor. In fact, a lot of people are complaining. A lot of non-science students are complaining. A lot of people from humanities and law, they complain that why do they get CSAT? They are giving you CSAT because they are giving more importance to people who have a mathematics or an engineering or a medical or a science background. That's the standard complaint that we get to hear. But in a way, that's not true. In a way, that's not true. It's not true, really. Why? Because there is a variety available in this paper. Maths is just one part of it, and they never give you too many maths questions. They don't do that. They're not doing that bias. A majority questions are coming from comprehension, and comprehension, I'm telling you, is the same for everyone. Whether you are a humanities person or a law person or a medical person or a biomedic or a science person, an engineer or whatever. When you see these passages, they are the same for everyone. They are equally challenging for everyone. They are equally fascinating for everyone. Okay, so they are not doing this kind of a academic bias out there. So that's why what I'm trying to make you understand briefly is that from 2015 onwards, the contribution of reading comprehension has become even more important because the level of passages has become tough. Okay, now talking about the last 2 years, 2022, 27 questions from comprehension, 2023, 28 questions from reading comprehension. So once again, you can expect on an average in the upcoming 2024 exam, what we estimate right now is that you will be getting anywhere from 27 to 32 questions from reading comprehension only out of the total CSAT 80 questions. This is our estimate, not our estimate, estimate of everyone in the industry. The pre-estimation is that anywhere from 27 to 32 questions will be coming only from comprehension in the upcoming CSAT 2024, which is a huge number. huge number of questions from comprehension. So, which means that you love it or you hate it, you like it or you fright it, you have to prepare for comprehension. And trust me, it's very interesting. If somebody tells you it is very difficult, it is not scoring, they are wrong. One day, after 2 months of practice, a time will come you will start loving the passages. It will become one of your favorite topics. That's something I can really promise you, provided you pay attention to them and you please do what I request you to do. Is that clear? Is that clear? They are very engaging. Right, right, right. I will definitely provide you my contact email address before I leave. Don't worry about that. Yeah, that's true. Okay. So now at 10:32 a.m., the time has come really. Thank you. The time has come really when we now should just take a deep dive in the comprehension segment only. That's why I'm here early to tackle the comprehension segment. Okay. So now the time is ready that we take our comprehension. Thank you so much, sir. We take our comprehension journey. We proceed, and now we understand the length and breadth, the nitty and the gritty of reading comprehension. But but before that, just listen to these three things super carefully. One, what do we know so far? So far, we only know that CSAT is the Civil Services Aptitude Test. No English, no Hindi, no language. Aptitude only. Second thing, CSAT will give you 80 questions. Out of these 80, many topics will come, but the most important is going to be reading comprehension. The proof is right here. More than a third of paper. Third thing, 200 marks are total. You need to get 66 to pass. For every correct answer, 2.5. For every wrong answer, minus 0.83. Totally, how much should I attempt? Depends on your accuracy and speed. In my suggestion, please take up at least 60. Please take up at least 60. For some people, maths could be a strong area. For some other people, comprehension could be better. For somebody else, data interpretation could be strong. For somebody else, reasoning could be better. What should I start the paper with? Should I do it in a flow? Don't do that. That's one very important thing I want to tell you at the very beginning. Do not follow the pattern of the paper, please. All these questions need thorough focus. And the way the question paper comes to you, it is made in such a way that you will see 5 passages. After that, you will see 4 questions of maths. Then 2 questions of reasoning. Again, 4 comprehension passages. Again, 4 questions of maths. They are constantly diverting you. They are constantly playing with your mind by giving you a jumbled up question paper. Okay, it's all mixed up. What you need to do is that you need to start from the topic which is your stronghold. Always do that. Start from your stronghold. Start from something that you find most easy to manage. Always do that. If you start with comprehension, first finish all the comprehension questions one by one, and then you take up the second topic, whatever you like. If you are better in mathematics, please do maths first. Do all the questions of numerical ability, as many as you can, and then jump to comprehension. That's one thing. Second thing, you don't have to attempt all the questions. Try to attempt maximum 60 or above. Definitely about 55 to 60 is mandatory. Try to attempt at least these many questions, but accuracy is the most important thing. When you talk about the comprehension passages, I have already told you in the upcoming exam, you can expect 27 to 32 questions from reading comprehension. Should you do all of them? No. Should we do all of them? No, you don't have to, because the passages are very complex and engaging. They need an unusual amount of focus and attention. It's a game of words. It's a game of trick. It's a mind trick, basically. It's a mind trap. So therefore, you don't have to do all the 27 and 32. Then what should I do? You should make sure that if you are given on an average 30 questions from comprehension, please try to attempt at least 17 to 18 with full accuracy. How much time should I devote to one comprehension question, or how much time should I give to one passage? In my experience and opinion, kindly do not give more than 1 minute to any given passage. It is not required at all. Don't do that. In fact, by the time we finish all our lectures, you should be in a position to finish one passage in less than 40 seconds. That is what is expected from a candidate, ideally. Ideally, okay. Now, the third thing is, if I think this is the right answer, can I tick it? Please avoid mindless guesswork. Do guesswork. Guesswork is important, but don't do mindless guesswork. It will cost you 0.83 marks. Please don't do any mindless guesswork. It's not going to help. It's going to, in fact, cause you problem. So now the thing is, you stop telling yourself and stop letting people make you believe that you have to do 80 questions in 200 in 2 hours. You don't have to. You only have to do about 55 to 60 questions with accuracy, and that is quite normal. It's not too much. You can do it. From comprehension also, maximum 17 to 18 with accuracy. Not all 30, not all 27. First thing is, believe this so that your tension goes away. When you constantly torture yourself, I have to do 27, I have to do all of them, it's not going to happen. It doesn't happen with anyone. It can't happen with you. It can't happen with me. Let's be very practical and realistic, honest. All a good candidate can do is to take up 17 to 18 with accuracy, and that's enough for you as well in the comprehension segment. So please don't get stressed out. Only 17, 18 are required. That's all. Okay. Is that clear? So I hope all the basic doubts about comprehension are clear. That we'll come to now. That's the strategy that you're talking about, sir. We are going to come to that. I'm just asking, I hope all the doubts that you had about time, marking, weightage, content, is that clear? Is there any question anybody is having? Any worries anybody is having? Regarding the structure of the CSAT exam, please be very clear that it's an aptitude exam. No, it's not the same. But the comprehension passages level of difficulty is the same. If you compare CAT and CSAT, then the level of difficulty of passages is just the same. The only difference is CAT has very long passages, CSAT has very short passages. CAT has 5 variety of questions, CSAT doesn't have that many variety of questions. Apart from that, the level, maths is more tough in CAT, easier in CSAT, but comprehension is same in both. Okay. Any other doubt regarding CSAT structure? No problem, sir. Go ahead. Curiosity works wonders. So today we will try to do 3 lectures, and then next Saturday, that's 23rd, we will come and do the last lecture. Oh, come on. State PCS is so easy. State PCS passages are something that you are going to enjoy and you are going to smile. They are so easy. They are like 6th, 7th grade level in school. They are nothing as compared to CSAT. Nothing. Yes, yes, yes. PYQ is the best thing you can practice. Absolutely. Okay, wonderful. So now, if all our doubts regarding CSAT structure is clear, there is a disclaimer that I want to make before we start. The disclaimer is that be very careful about what I'm saying. Be very careful about what I'm saying, my dear. Now, this lecture, a lot of people might be getting a doubt. A lot of people, have this thing in their mind that what is the intention behind these lectures really. A lot of people feel that we have organized the CSAT RC lecture for discussing the PYQs. It is wrong. That's not the reason we are here. No, not at all. Some people feel that we have organized this lecture so that we can improve English. No, that's not why we are here. Some people feel we are here because I will give you sample passages and you will practice them. No, that's not true. Some people feel I'm here to discuss PYQ answers. That's again wrong. That's not why we are here. So we are never going to take your precious time for things like these. Absolutely no, no, that's so silly. The reason why we have these lectures here for CSAT RC, let me be very clear, is that point number one, Anybody can download answers from the internet. It's available everywhere. It's available from the UPSC official website to all the websites. Any website. Answer you already will come to know. So, my purpose here is not to waste your time by telling you the correct answer. That's very stupid. I'm not here for that. Neither am I here to just show you the structure of the paper. That's so shallow. I'm not here for that. Reason I'm here is that we will take baby steps. You know how a baby walks? A baby doesn't walk, a baby toddles. A baby tries to walk, and one day he starts walking like with full confidence like an adult. So that's why we are here. Now, reaching the level of CSAT exam, reaching the level of CSAT reading comprehension, doing all of them with accuracy, understanding the spirit, understanding the whole idea behind UPSC CSAT is why we are here. But we are not here to jump there. We are here to take baby steps. Our strategy is to start from the scratch, just like you are a child. I know you're all adults, aspiring, smart students, but for me, with the way I treat my students is as if you're a child, a baby, a toddler. We'll start from the very scratch here. I will just teach you from the very beginning what is the concept of comprehension. I'm here to teach you the value of comprehension. I'm here to answer the question, why is UPSC so obsessed with reading comprehension? I'm here to teach you how do you attempt comprehension. The next thing I will do is to teach you the nature of UPSC comprehension. The next thing I will do is to teach you what all tricks do you need. Understand what all tricks do you need to solve these kind of questions. And the next thing I will do, the main purpose of my lecture, is to provide you with four and a half golden rules. Yes, you heard it right. In this platform, we share with you the four and a half secret golden rules. And these secret golden rules are how they have been created so that, yeah, I'll talk about it, so that you are able to answer the toughest of the question with super smoothness to make your life like smooth and easy. Are these rules been created for you? This is called a secret four and a half rules only for you. I am going to introduce all these rules to you in these lectures one by one, but I will also teach you how to apply these rules. Once we do this, the main purpose of our being here is to take up the most challenging, the most interesting, the most fascinating, and the most popular passages, comprehension questions from previous year questions 2011 to 2022. We will take up all these questions from CSAT RC and we will practice them thoroughly. You will solve them. I will be here to support you. We will answer on the basis of polling and then we will discuss the right answer. I will not only tell you this is the right answer that you will anyway come to know. I will tell you why is it the right answer. I want you to understand why is it the right answer. So, from the beginning, I will handhold you, make you reach a stage from where you will do all the passages and I will just let you know why is it the right answer. Is that clear? This is a reason for being here, to understand how to crack comprehension, not just to see them and go away, not like that. Unless each one of you is able to solve PYQs, I am not going to end the class, neither am I going to go anywhere. My mentality is a very school teacher kind of mentality, okay? Very school teacher kind of mentality. I am not going to go unless each one of you is confident in the PYQs. Is that clear? So we will start from the scratch by understanding the pulse of PYQ. What is the pulse of comprehension? Now, last but not the least, before I start, my dear, done. Please do not waste your energy, time, and money on solving mock papers. Don't do that, please. Don't practice anything outside previous year questions. Why will I say that? Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because the kind of passages you see in CSAT, you will not see in any other exam on this planet. It is very different from there. Why is it different from there? That also I'll tell you. Because All these passages that you are getting in CSAT are not original passages. Nobody is writing them. No teacher is writing them. Examiners are not writing them. They are copy pasted. They have been picked up from somewhere. Where? Most of them, 90% of them, are a copy from economics, the Economic Times editorial page, Indian Express editorial page, the Hindu editorial page, economic political weekly articles, Yojana magazine articles, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment website articles, Ministry of Forest, Climate Change and Environment, whatever, that website, Ministry of Home Affairs, WHO, UNICEF, or World Bank, or Asian Development Bank. All these have some publications. They just take them from there and they copy it here. That's where the passages are coming from. And that's why they are unique. You will not find them anywhere. So don't waste your time in practicing anything that has not come in the PYQ. If you want to master CSAT with full honesty, only practice the PYQs, that also specifically from 2013 to 2023. 10 years. Before that, not necessary. After that, that will be a surprise for you. Please do that. Give special focus to one particular year. This is the year of COVID 19 pandemic 2020. Why is it important? Because 2020 was the history maker in CSAT exam. 2020 was the most difficult CSAT that we have ever seen in the history from 2011 onwards. The most tough CSAT. The passages were very challenging. They were crazy. I don't know. I don't know why was it so tough. I really have no idea there. 2020 exam was mind spinning. The passages were crazy. Okay. So that's why we will study all the passages from 2013 to 2023 in your free time. Whenever you need to practice, either practice the PDF, what you get from here, or practice the PYQs that are available everywhere. But please don't waste time on doing mock passages. Now, if anybody ever tells you that do mock passages, they are only wasting your time. That much, please, you need to trust me there. Okay. Having said that, after all this gyan, after all this pravachan, can we now start jumping into comprehension? I can see all the questions, dear. So, okay, your question is why don't we do 2023 passages? Ma'am, the answer is very clear. See, I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you one thing. UPSC always releases the official answer booklet of CSAT exactly 1 to 2 months before the prelims. It will release it next year in 2024, say by March or something. So, unless UPSC is releasing the official answer key, we or anybody is not authorized to decide that this has to be the right answer. Although we know it will be right because our accuracy has been, by God's grace, 100%. But still, it is unprofessional and unethical. We are not supposed to do that. Unless UPSC has authorized that this is the correct answer, we will never do that to our students. And that's why, for the reason of this professional ethic, I am not discussing the 2023 answers with you. If you want me to, I will do, but definitely not officially because we have to wait for the official notification. And that's why I am going to make you practice 2022. But if you want to discuss 2023, please be my guest. I have no problem in doing that. Is that clear? Yeah. No, don't be scared. Don't be scared. No. That's a wonderful question that you asked. You need to know. Without curiosity, there is no education. I'm more than happy when you ask me questions, my dear. Please ask. When you ask questions, the class feels alive. When you don't ask questions, the class feels very dead. And that's not fun. No. It's never CSAT, NCRT level. It's always more difficult than that. Always. Okay? All right. Now, having said that, let's begin now with our official entry into, I will increase, sir, our official entry into CSAT reading comprehension. All the very best. Whatever doubts you have, please ask, keep asking me. Since we are starting from the scratch, there's one request I want to make. If you already have some knowledge about comprehension, please forget about it. Forget about it. If you have any biases about comprehension, remove them from your mind. If before this lecture you have ever heard anything about comprehension, please forget about it. Keep it aside. Let's do a fresh start with a clean mind, empty mind, vacant mind. Yes. So now let's focus. All the best. Dive into comprehension. Now, most students would actually wonder, now, everywhere we are seeing that out of 80, 32 questions are coming from passages. 32 questions are coming from comprehension. Why? Why so much focus on comprehension by UPSC? Why is UPSC obsessed with reading comprehension? What? What's the problem? Why do we need aptitude and why do we need comprehension in the aptitude? The answer is very clear. Yeah, mostly. Answer is very clear. Yes, this is CSAT paper 2 only. Answer is very clear. The answer is that comprehension is not about studies or education. Reading comprehension, okay, listening comprehension, visual comprehension, audio comprehension, or listening comprehension, all these have a bigger purpose in life. My dear, please understand that comprehension is not studies or education, or comprehension is a life skill. It's a big word I'm using. Why is comprehension a life skill? Just like, just like swimming is a life skill, talking is a life skill, writing is a life skill. Okay. Just like running is a life skill, walking is a life skill, comprehension is a life skill too. Now, you will ask me why. It's because the real meaning of the word comprehension is to try to understand something. Yes, comprehension means whenever we are trying to make a sense of something around us, it could be anything. It could be something as simple as entering into a dark room and then trying to understand what is inside it, what is kept here by touching it, like a blind person is doing. Unfortunately, somebody without a sight, they try to hear, they try to touch and feel, they try to study in the braille language. Why? Because they don't have this faculty of eyes and still they are trying to comprehend. Similarly, a baby, a newborn infant who doesn't know anything about anything in the world, even they are trying to make a comprehension by looking, by touching, by playing, by listening. Now that's also called comprehension. Why? Because as humans we are constantly interacting with our environment ever since birth. That's basic psychology. That's basic psychology. But how will we make sense of our environment? Every day we are exposed to new things, whether it be traveling from a new road or listening to some news. Parliament was attacked. Did we know it's going to happen? We didn't know that. Israel Palestine went for a war full time. We didn't know suddenly it will erupt in 2023. We had no idea. We didn't know that suddenly China will say that once again a pandemic is breaking out. All this is a surprise to us. We are not aware of this. News is always breaking news. But we are always trying to understand, oh, okay, attack happened. Who did it? Why did it happen? Oh, that's the reason. Then we will see, oh, pandemic is coming. What pandemic is that? Why is it coming? What is Indian government doing? All of that. So whenever you're trying to investigate, you are trying to understand, you are using all your faculties from your eyes, your mind, your ears, your nose, your hands, your sensory organs. That's called comprehension. And it is a life skill because even a newborn child does it. From the day you are born till the day you are dead, you will always do comprehension. Unless you are sleeping, you will always do comprehension. Like right now, I am trying to understand what my students are thinking, all of you, and you are trying to read and listen. I'm trying to read your comments. This is comprehension. Suddenly, I will check my WhatsApp. It's unprofessional. I'm not doing, I'm just telling you. What if I start checking my WhatsApp? Oh, okay. This is also comprehension. Suddenly, you will start checking your Facebook notification. That's comprehension. Reading newspaper every morning is comprehension. Listening to newsroom debate is a comprehension. Just now, construction is going on. I'm thinking, what's wrong? I'm having a class and they are doing construction. What is happening? That's also comprehension. It's a life skill. Now, why UPSC wants you to learn this life skill is because as a future officer, you will have to deal with the complex issues, a host of them, wide variety of them. How will you do it if you don't know comprehension? You will not be able to do. Thank you so much, sir. You will not be able to do unless you have this knowledge of comprehending. Anybody who can't comprehend is having a different ability. You will not survive in this society at all. And that's why we need comprehension. Okay. Why is it called reading comprehension? Because the examiner cannot send you audio clips, examiner cannot show you video. The only way examiner can understand do you have the logical ability to do comprehension is by giving you small passages. By giving you small passages. Now, what are these passages all about? These passages have been created like a set of jumbled up words. Trust me, these are not stories. These are not like a narrative. These are not a news item. They are just a group of sentences put together, deliberately put together in such a way that they don't have a beginning and they don't have an end. Imagine there is an article in the newspaper, Economic Times. UPSC is just taking four lines from between and giving it to you as a passage. Neither do you know what is the introduction, nor do you know what's the conclusion, and still you have to understand that passage. Why? It's an ultimate test of your comprehension knowledge. How much can you understand what's going on? And whenever human brain tries to understand what's going on, that moment you start doing comprehension. That's all. It's as simple as that. So here you will get small passages which will be jumbled up words. Jumbled up words. When people say that, ma'am, comprehension in RC is tough, it's not tough. Let me be clear with you, it's not tough. It is just, what do you say? It's just abstract. There is no end to it, there is no beginning to it. It's just out of the blue. That's why you feel it is difficult. It's not difficult, it is out of context for you. It's as bad as I'm coming and telling you, and then yesterday, you know what she told me? Yesterday, she told me that if you don't come to my house regularly, there is no point in being sisters. You will suddenly say, is this lady mad or what? What is she talking about? Like, whom are you talking about? It's like that situation. Obviously, you will be confused because you don't know. I have not given you the context of whether I'm talking about my sister or my relative, anything. That's what they are doing here. They are giving you news pieces, news clippings, article clippings, story clippings. Obviously, you will feel confused. It is not tough, it is just out of the blue. You don't have a context and you are scared from that. That's all. These are all jumbled up words kind of situation where they give you a situation. Typically, you will find that most of these passages are coming from current affairs. Yes, you heard it right. Majority of these passages are typically current affairs of the past 2 to 3 years. Most of them. For example, pandemic can come, economic situation can come, India's solar alliance can come, or women reservation can come, caste survey can come, climate change can come. Most of these are based on current affairs. Some of them, very few, will be based on philosophy or thought. The thought of a very famous thinker, Plato, Aristotle, Locke, Hobbes, Gandhiji, Ambedkarji, Vivekanandji, APJ Abdul Kalam, Dr. Kalam, all of that. So it's all like you never know where it is coming from. But generally, they are rooted into current affairs. Is that clear? They will all be jumbled up. Jumbled up as in you can understand them, but they are just a mind game. They are just a mental trick. That's what it is. These are the passages that you will get. Okay. So in the comprehension segment, they are trying to judge your life skill. How much can you understand by reading? How much can you understand by reading in basic English language? Because you have chosen English language. If you had chosen Hindi, it would be in Hindi. Okay. So that's all they are trying to do. Now, if this is what they do, they give you a very short passage. Now, these short passages are often called in English as squat passages. I'm sure most of you know about gymming. Gymming is very trendy nowadays. In the gym, you go and you do squats. So remember that these are squat passages. Squat passages mean very small passage, maximum 5 line, 7 line, 6 line, majority of them 4 line, 4.5 line. That's all. These are called squat passages. Agreed? Is that clear? This is the kind of question you will get in the CSAT RC. Squat means very short. I'm writing here. Very short. You can take a screenshot if you want. Very short. In Hindi, very chota. Very short. Typically, you will get passages, say about 20 passages, 24 passages, 27 passages. You never know. And every passage will be followed by either one question or two questions, sometimes three questions also. I was about to tell that. So every passage here is followed by, every passage has 1 to 3 questions. Okay, every passage will have 1 to 3 questions. Is that clear? Yes. No. The same is not true with language paper. Language paper is a different ball game. We can talk about that also. But as of now, CSAT passages have only 1 to 3 questions. Okay. Total, you can get 20 passages, 25 passages. It depends. It changes one year to another. Now, when I know that, I will get very short passages. Questions will be based on these passages from 1 question to 3 questions, any number of them. What should I do now? Yes. What should I do now? Fine, I understood that comprehension is a life skill. When I'm living my life, I'm comprehending every situation. And here also, I have to comprehend the passage. Passages will have 1 to 3 questions. So, what should I do now? Tell, what should I do now? So, now what you will do is that the very first thing, you have to read these passages thoroughly, sincerely, loyally, with full focus on the paper. There is no excuse, there is no second way, alternative is not available. In the CSAT exam, you have to read the passage. There is no choice. There is no choice. It's a compulsion. It's like you can't answer a question, you can't answer without reading the question. If I give you a math problem, you will never answer without understanding what is the question asking. Similarly, here, you cannot answer. If anybody tells you, read the question first. They are doing a crime against humanity by misguiding you in CSAT. In CSAT. If somebody tells you, just look at the passage and first look at the question, again, that's a very wrong thing they're doing. Don't please listen to them. It's a sincere request. Don't fall in that trap. You cannot answer these questions without reading the passage super carefully. You cannot. So, first thing is, I have to understand the passage. Second thing is, what is my main intention? Now, listen to this very carefully. What is my main intention behind reading the passage? Your main intention behind reading the passage is going to be the crux of the passage. The crux of the passage. What do I mean by the crux of the passage? Now, the word crux in English is also known as gist. It is also known as juice. It is also known as the main purpose. Now, whenever somebody talks to you, whenever somebody is trying to make a conversation with you, whether at home, whether in college, or whether at your friend's place, there is always a reason behind that. You might have noticed if somebody is talking without a purpose, people will say they are mentally challenged, they are not normal, they are not behaving in a normal way. Nobody will just start talking without a reason unless they are experiencing some trauma or they are having a mental difficulty. Nobody would do that. Whenever you talk with a reason. Whenever you discuss with a reason. Similarly, whenever you write with a reason. Whatever that reason is. You can write because you are inspired by nature, you want to write a poem. You can write because you want to write a letter. You can write a Facebook post for informing people about something. You can write a WhatsApp message to your friend. But whatever you write, it has to be a purpose behind that. Similarly, here in these passages, whatever is being written has a purpose behind it. It is not without a purpose. Obviously, it has a reason. The writer of the passage, the creator of the passage, has something in the mind. That is why he or she is trying to express it through words. After all, what is writing? Writing is expressing your feelings. Talking is also expressing your feelings. Whenever you read a CSAT passage thoroughly, your main purpose, your main aim or target should be to try to understand why did the writer write this passage. That's the main thing here. That's called the crux of the passage. Why did the writer spend time on creating this passage for me? What could be the intention of the writer? What could be the purpose behind this passage? What is he or she trying to express to me, to communicate to me? He or she wants to say something. I really want to decode what is that thing. This is referred to as the crux of the passage. In every passage in CSAT exam, my dear, you have to try to understand this main purpose of the passage or the intention of the author. Always try to understand that. Without this, you will never become successful here. Second thing, yes, right reference. Second thing, whenever you provide an answer, it's an objective paper. So whenever you tick A, B, C, D, whenever you choose an option, please take this in writing. Please be careful. You have to answer the question only based on the passage, nothing from outside. Yes, nothing from outside. You will not use your imagination. You will not use your general knowledge. A lot of students are making this mistake every year. They are using their general studies, they are using their common sense, they are using their background knowledge, and they are answering the passages. It's the worst mistake a student can make. Worst mistake. You are not supposed to do that. When you sit for the CSAT exam, please forget your general studies. Keep it up, keep it aside. You have to sit with a clean mind. You have to remove the biases, intellectual biases that you are coming here with. You may be PhD in history. You may be excellent in geography. You may be a guru of economics. You may be a master of constitution. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. For CSAT comprehension, a person who knows nothing is just the same as person who knows everything, because here you are not allowed to use your knowledge or your biases. You cannot assume anything. You have to answer only and only based on the information provided in the passage. If you want to use your creativity, imagination, enjoy your essay writing, enjoy your pressy writing. Please don't use it here. If essay is freedom, comprehension is like imprisonment. Your hands are tied. There is nothing you can do. Whatever the passage will say will be correct. Whether you like it or you don't like it, it doesn't matter here. So don't use your assumptions or your GS. Forget about who you are. You are just a candidate, a human who is trying to do comprehension from the passage. The answer, therefore, has to be rooted in the passage. There is no alternative here. Second thing, a lot of people assume from YouTube tutorials, from mock textbooks, from guidebooks that we should read the passage very quickly. A lot of students often mail me and say, "Ma'am, is it okay to skim the passage? Skimping the passage? Doing a rapid reading of the passage? Doing a quick reading of the passage? Glancing the passage?" No, no. Firstly, this is CSAT passage. Already the level is super tough. Second, it is coming from sources which are already very difficult to understand, like Economic Times, Express, Indian Express, and EPW. And on top of it, somebody is telling you and that you read it quickly. If you read it quickly, how will you understand? This is UPSC. If you read quickly, you will not understand anything. Nothing. Everything will go apart from your brain. Everything will go here and there. You can't do that. You cannot read it quickly. You have to give it the time that is needed to understand. Okay. Please, you have to read it thoroughly. Yes, you have to read it thoroughly. Second thing is, there's one more important strategy here. Please don't read the passage more than once. Now you will think this lady is gone case, but I really mean it. You don't have to read the passage more than once. When I say read the passage thoroughly, all I'm trying to say is that read the passage once with full dedication. With full dedication. Just like you read the score in your mark sheet. Read the passage only once, but read it as thoroughly as your brain can afford to, as focused as ever. Only once, top word to bottom word, first word to last word. That's it. Now you will ask me, if I read the passage once, will I remember everything? Yes, you will. That is where the golden rules will be there to help you. That is where the golden rule will comes to save you. You don't have to worry about that. That's my problem. You do what I'm saying. Read the passage once thoroughly. A lot of people will also comment here that, "Ma'am, my speed is very slow. I can read, but I read very slowly. What to do? Is that a problem?" Congratulations. You will do very well then. This is the only exam in the world. CSAT comprehension is the only question in the world where speed will not help you. Accuracy will help you more. So even if you read slowly, good. Do that. Read the passage nicely, thoroughly, and take your time. You can give nicely 25 to 30 seconds, which is a lot of time, to read one small passage. It's enough time. So please read it. Take your time. Don't blame yourself if you are having poor vocabulary. Words will also not help you here. Don't blame yourself if you read like a tortoise. Very good. I also read like that. Good job. So always speed will not count. Accuracy will count. Is that clear? Is that clear? Is that clear? Now, another very valid question might come to you. It might make you curious that what kind of passages really come in the exam? When I tell you that most of these passages are taken from current affairs and philosophy, most of these passages are taken from leading national dailies like Hindu, Economic Times, Indian Express, or EPW or the Yojana magazine, or any other official website of various institutions like UNICEF, United Nations, or BRICS, all of that. When I say that, generally the current affairs can be divided into all these categories. If you look at the previous 10 to 12-year PYQs, previous year questions, you will realize that majority of the passages are picked up from environment or ecology. Why? Because it is always in the news, it is always in the current affairs. So here in CSAT, you will see that majority passages will talk about air pollution, marine pollution, noise pollution, light pollution. You will hear that they talk about coral bleaching, flooding and droughts, loss of biodiversity, poaching and hunting of animals, green revolution. They will always talk about air pollution in New Delhi in particular. They could talk about groundwater contamination, they could talk about cyclone, they could talk about global warming, all of that. EPWs is, my dear, Economic Political Weekly. It's a magazine. It's a magazine that it's an English edition magazine, and it's very relevant because it deals with a lot of political and social issues. I'm not saying you should read all of them, that's not what I mean. But it's true that many passages are taken from articles of EPW because it is always talking about current affairs. So, all environmental current affairs are covered here. Second most important topic from where the passages are taken is economy. Global economy, Indian economy. Here you will find most of the passages talk about inflation, economic growth, stagflation. They can talk about, you know, debt, India's debt or Pakistan. Why is it in debt? Your GDP, yes, national income, agriculture sector, poverty, unemployment. All the passages which are based on economy will talk about economic current affairs. Most of them, IMF, World Bank, Asian Development Bank, or yeah, FDI, FPI, whatever. Or they can also talk about subsidies on agriculture. They can also talk about your informal sector and unemployment in the informal sector, social dumping, all of that. Now, another very important and the third most vital category here is health. You will notice that UPSC is absolutely in love with health and nutrition for some reason. You will find so many passage. No, I have not seen any direct passage on the budget so far, but they might give you. You can expect, you never know. Railway budget or economic budget, maybe few lines from the budget. They can do that also. Now, UPSC gives a special focus to health and nourishment for some reason, and you will always find in the last 10 years that maximum passages are based on malnutrition. Malnourishment is UPSC hot favorite. Another hot favorite is food poisoning. I don't know, for some reason, UPSC loves malnourishment and food poisoning. Another favorite area is child death rate, child mortality rate, and maternal mortality rate. These are again something UPSC constantly brings up. Similarly, diseases like tuberculosis, cancer, AIDS, all of these ailments or diseases, UPSC talks about them so much. Yes, malnourishment, so food crisis and all of that. So many of them come. Women health, child health in particular, food poisoning, HIV, tuberculosis, cancer in particular. Similarly, child death. and malnourishment. So many passages will come from here. So most of these will be these only. Some passages here and there will also, they might come from philosophical thought. These are more easy to understand. Philosophy means any kind of story which is having a moral lesson, any kind of thought by a very famous philosopher or a thinker. Gandhiji's thought on education, Plato's thought on democracy, all of that, anything. Now, you will always notice that the first three categories, environment, economy, and health, these are more difficult to understand because they use very, very technical words. But you will also notice that passages that are based on story and philosophy or any kind of social issue like dowry, they are always more easy to understand. Why? Because they have no difficult word, they have no difficult terminology. But the passages that are based on environment can use words like, say, for example, particulate matter. For those who don't know, they will find it difficult. Air quality index, yeah, like child marriage. Infant mortality, they can use words like, say, bioavailability. They can use words like child wasting, child stunting. All this is health. Similarly, microbiome. Economy, they can use words like stagflation, they can use words like recession, they can use words like deflation, demonetization, anything that's slightly more technical in terms of economics, right? Similarly, environment, they can use words like, atmospheric barometer, they can use words like what is an anemometer, all of that. So, slightly it is challenging to understand ecology, environment, and health. You will understand, but some words can be a little difficult. But when you talk about these, yeah, like total fertility rate and all that, but when you talk about social issues and philosophy, they are very easy, they are very childlike, you can understand them very simply. All right, so most passages will come from here. But all in all, yeah, that's a very valid point you've made, that they generally, that's the intention, they are trying to show you the reality of Indian society by showing you and exposing you to a variety of current affairs. Now, naturally, a student who is more thorough with current affairs, a student who is more well read, who knows more things from environment, economy, will have it slightly easier, will find it slightly easier to understand these words. It doesn't mean that they will understand the whole passage, but they can find it easier to understand the words that are used here. That happens. No, that's the best part. You don't have to focus so much on the technical vocabulary. That doesn't work here. You have to understand one thing, what I just said, the intention behind the writer. Why was the passage written? No, it's not like that. If science students can understand the health and nourishment properly, you will be able to understand passages that are environmental or health oriented or social issues more easily. So it's very fair. It's not like they will be better than you. It's not like that. It's not like that. Now, another thing to note is that no matter what the passage is, whether it's economic or ecology, or whether it's health, or whether it is story or philosophy, as I said, what will you do step by step? Now, please be very careful with this, my dear. First step will be to just look at the passage and read it with full dedication. Read it with focus. When I say focus, I mean full focus. Not like, oh, look at this candidate next to me. I think she's doing maths. Oh, look at the pen she's using. Will it leak or not? It's so hot. I don't know what situation is that. When you, before the prelims only, sit in a room without the fan, sit in a room without the AC. Please test yourself. That day, last minute, these things will not work. That mosquito has come or fan is not working. All these lose your track because it is okay if it happens in any other exam, but for CSAT exam, when it's aptitude, what really matters is how much alert you are and how much focus you can do. It's like a meditation exercise. So please either learn to meditate, or please just try to focus and ignore the environmental stimulations. You cannot afford to get diverted by what the invigilator is wearing or saying, or whether the fan is making a noise, or whether somebody's mobile is, whatever happens, let it be. Your focus has to be the passage. 100% dedication, meditation on the passage. That's the way you will read the passage. Second thing you will do is, you will now, after reading the passage, follow the golden rules that I tell you. Okay, follow the golden rules. Third thing what you will do is read the question thoroughly. Now majority of students are making this huge mistake. I have noticed that they don't read the question, they just come to the options. Tell me honestly, do you do this or not? It's very natural. Most people are doing it. They will see the passage and immediately they will jump on the options A, B, C, D. How many students are actually reading the question? That's the key here. That's the key. When you are missing the question, when you are missing the question and just coming to the option, you are unconsciously, subconsciously presuming, you are doing this bias of judgment that all questions are the same. When you don't read the question and when you jump to the option, you are somewhere admitting and you are believing wrongly that all questions are same only. I have to do the same thing. I will read the passage, choose the right answer. How can you say that? How can we presume that when the questions are different and not the same? So please read the question. After reading the passage thoroughly, like a meditation, you will first follow the golden rule. Now you will read the question first. It's very critical to identify what kind of question is that. Next, now you will come to the options. Once you are at the options, again you will use the golden rules and find the right answer. And then tick the right answer, chapter over, and only then will you jump on to the next passage. Now, there is one more mistake a lot of people do. When they open the exam paper, the first thing they do is, okay, I am better at comprehension. I will start with comprehension. Good thing. Very good. Now, they will not take up one passage at a time. Quickly, they will start scanning all of them. Oh, this is looking easy. This is looking tough. Oh, here I can use the golden rule. No, this is very tough. Oh, this is very long. It's a waste of time. Don't do that. When you have decided that I am taking up RC first, or when you have decided I'm taking math first, sit seriously with the first question. Seriously try to solve all of them. Same is with RC. Don't do this reading half, reading two, reading four line. That won't work here. Only once you have to read every passage, start from the first, end at the last. Do as many as you know, but please don't do this mistake that you are reading in between and wasting your time. Time here is more precious than anything. Save time, invest in time productively. Okay, so next you will come to the options, use the golden rules, find the right answer. You will never revise. You will have no time to revise. You will never come and revise comprehension. If you want, you can revise math, but you will not waste your time in revising comprehension. Is that clear? Is that clear? Now, last but not the least, now that you know where are the, thank you, now that you know where are the passages coming from, which areas, current affairs, what all, now that you know what order you have to follow, passage like meditation exercise, question, option, golden rules, answer, move on. But, but, all in all, all in all, in a nutshell, the main purpose behind reading comprehension passages is and will always be to see this diagram here. Now, please kindly focus on the screen, my dear. This is very critical. So, let me explain this to you by highlighting it even further. Now, no matter which passage it is, economics, ecology, social, health, climate, whatever, the most important thing that you should always remember is that here in the CSAT exam, every passage has two aspects. You know aspects? Two sides, like a coin. A coin has two sides, heads and tails. Similarly, please be very thorough with this. Please focus. Every passage here has two aspects to it. One side is the main idea of the passage. This is also called as the purpose behind the passage. Why did the writer waste his time, energy in writing the passage? In short, we will always call this as MI, main idea. In future, I will use the short form, so please understand it means main idea. Main idea, the purpose behind the passage, the intention behind the passage. It is as good as saying that I will start drinking this. You will say, why is she drinking this? Purpose. What is the purpose? I need water, I'm thirsty. Similarly, every passage has a purpose. You have to understand one side of the passage is the main purpose of the passage. Now, another side of the same passage, is going to be something that we call as supporting ideas. Yes, we will talk about it. We will talk about it. Good question. We'll talk about it. Another side of it is supporting idea. In short, SI, supporting idea. Supporting idea. What is the difference between this main idea or the purpose and supporting idea? There are two differences. The most important difference between the supporting idea and the main idea is main idea is always one only. Main idea is only one. The purpose why the passage was written. Why did the writer write it? What message is he trying to give you or she trying to give you? Is he or she trying to teach you a lesson, a moral lesson, a new learning? What is that main purpose? What is that main moral learning? That's called the main idea, MI. That's always one. Generally, you will find that. Please listen very carefully. Huh? This is critical. Generally, you will find that in all the passages, the main idea will always talk about a noun. I hope you remember noun. What is noun? The name of a person, a place, an animal, a thing, or an abstract feeling. That is called a noun. For example, a pen is a noun, a mobile phone is a noun, a water bottle is a noun, AC is a noun, a lady is a noun, students are noun, computer is a noun. Delhi, Bangalore, Calcutta, New York, all are noun. Tiger, rabbit, dog, cat, mouse, butterfly, nouns. Yes, name, place, animal, thing. We used to play as children. Remember that funny game, name, place, animal, thing? All of that is a noun. Plus, there is another category of noun. This is known as abstract noun. Abstract nouns are things that you cannot touch, you cannot see, but they exist, like air, sound, honesty, love, dedication, passion, hatred, jealousy, devotion. All these are also nouns, but they are feelings. They are abstract. You cannot touch them. They are intangible. You cannot feel them, but they do exist. You cannot deny that they are not there. Okay? So, all these are nouns. Person can be noun, people, a thing, or an animal, or a city, a country, a continent, a mountain, or an abstract feeling. So, all these are nouns. Now, you will always notice that in every passage here, the main idea or the purpose of the passage is generally associated with some noun, any noun, any person, region, thing, object, feeling, animal. All of these are nouns. It could be anything. The passage could talk about tigers or peacocks. The passage could talk about New Delhi or New York. The passage could talk about honesty. The passage could talk about democracy. The passage could talk about people from China or people from South Korea or emotions. All of these are nouns. Now, this is one thing. Now, let's come to the secondary idea or supporting idea. What do you mean by a supporting idea? Just like the name says, in every passage, please be careful. In every passage, you will see that there is always one main idea, one main noun that is responsible for the purpose of the passage. Why am I writing the passage? What do I want to communicate with my reader? What is my intention? What learning? What message? What moral value I want to teach you? That's the main idea, generally a noun. Now, apart from this, in the same passage, there are many small supporting ideas also. Very small. They can be many. They can be 10, 20, 40, 50, any number of them. So, one thing is, there are many supporting ideas. In every passage, you can have more than five, more than two, more than one supporting ideas. Main idea is always one. Supporting ideas are so many. So many. Second thing is, just like the main idea is related to a noun, you will see that the supporting ideas are generally related to something that's called in English as either a verb or an adjective. I hope you understand these two words. What is a verb? A verb is an action word. When you do an action, it's called a verb. Eating, drinking, writing, sleeping, talking, studying, talking, expressing, listening, watching. verbs. Action. Adjective. Adjective is when we are trying to describe the quality or the quantity of a noun. We know what is a noun. Now, whenever you are trying to talk about a noun, you are trying to describe that noun. For example, a man is a noun. When you say the man is tall, tall is an adjective because it's describing the man. When I say that a pen is a noun, thing. But when I try to say four pens, I'm trying to tell you the quantity. When I'm trying to say black pen, I'm giving you quality. All these words in English which describe either the quality or the quantity of noun, they are known as adjectives. So anything that describes the noun becomes adjective. Now you will always see that if the main idea is talking about any noun, it is always the supporting ideas which do and will always talk about either the action word regarding that noun, the action which the noun of the main idea is doing, and the adjective regarding the main idea, the description regarding the noun of the passage. Is that clear? Let me give you a quick example. For example, here is the passage, and the passage is talking about, let's say the passage is talking about New Delhi. So, when you say, what is the purpose behind the passage? What's the main idea of the passage? That's New Delhi. And New Delhi is a noun. That's the main idea. You will see in the passage, you will read things like, it is the capital of India. It's a large city. The parliament is rooted in New Delhi. New Delhi is the political capital also. People associate New Delhi with a wide variety of architecture. We can see a fine blend of various kind of monuments here. New Delhi is also of late experiencing pollution. People in New Delhi come from diverse backgrounds. Generally, they are migrants from the neighborhood states. All of that. So, yes, absolutely. So the main noun is New Delhi. But when you talk about polluted, that's an adjective. You are describing. When you say large city, again, adjective. When you say it is the capital of India, verb. You are saying, what does New Delhi do? It works as the political capital of India. New Delhi also provides employment to so many people. Verb. Similarly, New Delhi is so monumental. It has so many monuments. Once again, adjective. So exactly this is the passage. If New Delhi is the main idea, then words like pollution, employment, monument, large, these become either the verbs or the adjectives, and they become the supporting ideas. Is that clear? Is that clear? Slightly technical, but is that clear? Anybody has any difficulties, challenges in understanding this whole concept? Not really. Maybe apart from the fact that passages enlighten you on current affairs. It will help you because it is opening up new ideas for you. Verb. Good. Now, verb is an action word. Anything that is anything that is talking about verb, a doing thing, an action word, drinking water, taking the lecture, all these are verbs. So, if the passage is talking about, say, for example, a human being. Okay, let's say not New Delhi. Now I'm talking about a passage where we are dealing with Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, now the passage is talking about Gandhiji. So the main idea is Gandhiji. It's a person, it's a noun. That's the main idea. There is always one main idea. The purpose of the passage is to enlighten you, is to inform you about Gandhiji. So, what are the supporting ideas? Supporting ideas can be verbs about Gandhiji. What actions did he do? He led India in the salt satyagraha. He led India in the Champaran Kheda, or what is that other one? Champaran Kheda Satyagraha. Or he led India in the salt march. He introduced the Quit India movement, Ahmedabad Mills struggle, whatever. Or he was the one who taught us the value of non-violence and truth. All that are verbs. He was doing all that. Action word. These are supporting ideas about Mahatma Gandhi. Or they can also say he was an honest man. He was a truthful man. He was a humble man. These are adjectives. We are describing the personality of Gandhiji. What did he do? Actions, verbs. What did he do? All these become supporting ideas. All the adjectives about Gandhiji, his description, and all the actions that he took will become the supporting ideas, because the main idea is always noun. The supporting ideas are words that talk about the noun, that describe the noun. What was the noun doing? A human being? Verb. Place like New Delhi? Adjectives. Honesty? Maybe the passage is talking about honesty. That is the main noun, main idea, purpose of the passage. Apart from that, many supporting ideas will be there. All leaders have to be honest. Verb. Honesty is a great virtue. Once again, adjective. It's a great value. All of that. Is that clear now? Any more confusions? Broadly, this is how we need to decode the passage. Broadly, this is how we need to decode the passage. Okay, so the main thing you need to remember is that for all the CSAT passages, your first intention should be reading the passage and grasping the main idea. Most of the questions here are going to be based on the main idea. Very few questions are going to target the supporting ideas. Majority of these will come from main idea. If you can decode the main idea, you are 99% successful in CSAT comprehension. Is that clear? Is that clear? If this is clear, now we can proceed to another level. We have graduated to another level. If this is clear, let's move to another level now. Okay. So now, at this point, when you know something about CSAT already, comprehension, when you know about the basic character of the passage, main idea versus the supporting idea, now the right time has come when I need to ask you a question. And my question to you is, do you know? Do you have any idea about how many kind of questions come from the reading comprehension segment? I'm not saying the number of questions, 27 to 32. How many variety of questions can these passages have? How many type of questions can these passages have? Are all the passages having the same question? That's such a smart answer. Many. How many is my question? Are all the passages having the same kind of question? Do all the passages have a different kind of question? If yes, then how many do you think will be there? When you talk about your CAT exam, MBA exam, you say that some questions are based on vocabulary. Some questions, that is okay. They are all MCQs. Entire CSAT is MCQ only. I know. I'm saying within CSAT, comprehension questions will be there. What kind of comprehension questions will come after the passages? Okay, it will be a passage. It will be ABCD. But is there a variety in the question? Are the questions different types or are they just the same? In CSAT, you have vocabulary based questions, passage based questions. Okay, around 20 patterns. Okay, that's interesting. Thank you so much. Different type of questions. Now, some people are giving very diplomatic answers. They are already UPSC kind of officers. They are having that behavior already. Many types, multiple types, different types. Wow, so informative. 7, 8 variety. All right, that's really cute. That's very sweet of you to try. Now, okay. So be happy then. There is a reason for you to cheer up because UPSC CSAT comprehension only has 3 type of questions. Okay. Yes, you are right. 3 type of questions. Yeah. Very good. Very good. So UPSC CSAT only has 3 kind of questions. Not 20, not many, not 7, 8. Only these 3 kind of questions. Yes. Out of these 3 questions, as somebody just commented very rightfully, out of these 3 varieties, 2 will be only based on the main idea. Yes, they will only ask you to identify the main idea. The purpose of the passage. Why was the passage written? The main idea, the main noun of the passage. Okay, 2 of them. Now, the third variety is going to be easy. Third variety will be simple because that will ask you something about supporting idea, the adjective or the verb. All right. So, typically, that's how it is. Yes. 2 are difficult and one is easy. So what are these three type of questions? So at this point of time, we will now proceed towards slowly understanding, decoding, and practicing these three type of questions one by one. Okay. And second, once we know these three kind of questions, we will slowly start understanding the 4.5 golden rules. Is that clear? Okay, sure. I will repeat this. In CSAT exam, break we will take at 12 o'clock. We will take break after every 2 hours. Okay, that's fine. Before 2 hours, if we take, then syllabus will not finish. After every 2 hours, we will take. Okay, what I said was that in the CSAT exam, you know that there are 80 questions. 30 can be comprehension. In these comprehension questions, passages will come. You know that. You know you have to thoroughly read the passage like a meditation. But I said, after the passage, please read the question. I asked you, how many types of questions will come? How many variety of questions come? What is the nature of these questions? And then I told you three type of questions will come. Two will be based on main idea, main purpose of the passage. One will be based on supporting idea. Is that clear? Two are difficult, one variety is easy. Is that clear? I said once we understand these three types, we will proceed and introduce you to my secret golden 4.5 rules methodology. Is that clear? So can we proceed with your kind permission now? Or are you already too tired? Too much CSAT? Overdose, huh? That depends. It's not a rule. One passage sometimes has only one question. Sometimes one passage can have two questions. Rarely, some passages have three questions also. Okay. All right. Beautiful. Having said this, let's quickly now come to the most important part of this class and understand the three kind of questions. Now, let me also tell you whatever we have been doing for the last 2 hours, it has been a prelude. What is a prelude? An introduction to the proper method. Now what we will do from 11:44 a.m. onwards is going to be the real main hardcore CSAT study. So please focus on it. Focus more from now onwards. Now, what are the three type of questions that come in the comprehension passages of only UPSC CSAT? Now, kind of. The first question is the easiest type of question. Yes, the first question is the easiest type of question. It's a cakewalk. It's like eating a candy. It's like enjoying a chocolate. It's so easy. It's a no-brainer. You don't have to use your mind too much. It's very intuitive. It's very simple. It's known as PBQ. In future, we will always call this PBQ. What is PBQ? PBQ stands for passage based question. Passage based question. As I said, in the CSAT exam, all the passages will have only one main idea. That is the purpose of the passage, some noun, anything. Plus, every passage will always have many supporting ideas. They are there to support the main idea. They are used by the author in the form of generally verbs and adjectives in order to support and build the main idea. They are like a base, a support system to the main idea. So the first variety of question, which is the easiest, PBQ or the passage based question, is directly based on the supporting ideas. That's why they are very easy to comprehend. They are not hidden. You don't have to find them in great detail. You don't have to understand the passage thoroughly to find the answer to them. They are visible right in front of your eyes. Why? Because passage based questions are direct questions. They are completely based on the passage. They are like a child work. The right answer or the right option will be mentioned in the passage itself. You have to find it. Since it is UPSC exam, obviously the language is not going to be like a child level language or a 10th level language. No, it's going to be slightly standardized language. So therefore, you need to just know that passage based questions don't need any deep understanding. They are at the surface of the passage. They are only about finding the supporting idea. Supporting ideas are visible directly. You don't have to locate them. They are visible on the surface. Main idea is hidden inside. You have to decode it. But supporting idea is visible to you openly. So therefore, PBQ will always target supporting idea. They will ask you some fact or some detail regarding supporting idea mentioned clearly in the passage. If you have seen the passage, you have to do match the following. The correct option will match the passage and you can locate it in the passage. Whether the correct option is A, B, C, D, all of this can be found easily in the passage. Is that clear? That's why it's called a PBQ. Now, this is more scoring. You will get very good marks for it. Most students love the PBQ because they know that it is easy, it saves time, and it is very scoring. But the unfortunate thing is that not many questions are PBQ variety. Only about 10 to 20% question paper will have PBQ. Is that clear? Now, let's come to the second variety of question, which is not easy. It is slightly on the tougher side. I wouldn't say it is very tough, but definitely it is moderate to tough. Now, the second variety is something that I call as, and you please learn to call it as a TBQ. What is it? TBQ. Why a TBQ? Because it is called as theme based question. Now, what is a TBQ? What is a theme based question? I just told you, my dear, that every passage in this exam will always have one main idea. What is the purpose behind the passage? Why was the passage written? This purpose is known as the theme of the passage. Is that clear? Is that clear? This purpose, why is the passage written? Why? What is the main idea or the main message that the writer is trying to tell me? The main noun. That is known as the theme of the passage. This is directly asked in the form of TBQ. TBQ will ask you, what is the main idea of the passage? What is the purpose of the passage? Sometimes they use words like gist, crux, central message. All these are the same things. The purpose of the passage. Rather, the intention of the writer. Why did the writer write this passage? If you decode this, you will answer the TBQ. It is slightly difficult because you have to find the main idea by separating it from the supporting idea. Now, while all CSAT aspirants know how to read the passage, they will all read the passage, but only very few of them learn the art, learn the skill of decoding the main idea. I always tell my students, that's what I'm going to do now. I always tell my students, the day you can identify the main idea, you have won the battle of CSAT. That day you will get 100% accuracy. You will never look back. But to reach that stage will take a little hard work. Maybe 2 lectures at least. Let's see. Now, the third and the last variety is the most deadly variety. This is the COVID pandemic of CSAT exam. Why? It is the most hated variety. It's the most, in fact, this is the question because of which people call CSAT difficult. The last variety is referred to as IBQ. Yes, IBQ. Why IBQ? Because these are called as inference based questions, right? What? Inference based questions. To answer these questions, you don't need to understand supporting idea. To answer these questions, the first thing is you have to understand the main idea. That's the first step. So you cannot answer an IBQ unless you know a TBQ. Always remember, they are very related to each other. Let me be honest with you. You can answer a TBQ by understanding the main idea or the purpose of the passage, but you cannot answer an IBQ unless you are aware of the TB, unless you are aware of the main purpose or the main intention of the passage. Unless you know that, you cannot answer IBQ. But what is an IBQ? Yes, TBQ is like a younger brother of IBQ. You can say that. It's the first step towards IBQ. But what is an IBQ? Now, IBQ is a very different thing. It's a different skill altogether because you need to learn the art of making inference. What is an inference? That's the first valid question at this point. And the second valid point is, how will I learn how to make an inference? All right, let's learn them. Let's learn it now. But there is one bad news that you have to take with a pinch of salt, whether you like it or not. It's not like I like telling you this, but I can't help it. In this CSAT paper, in any CSAT exam, majority questions will be IBQ or TBQ. Majority of them. Till 2017, majority used to be IBQ, but in the last 2 years, majority have been TBQ. So either TBQ or IBQ will be the maximum. If you get 30 questions out of reading comprehension in the total exam, please be prepared for it. That out of these 30, about say 17 are going to be only IBQ or TBQ. Yes, the remaining can be PBQ. If you are getting PBQ, that's good luck. Very good. Then nothing, no problem. But you have to prepare for IBQ and TBQ, and only then you can be sure of your success in the exam. So what is that? So what is that 5 W's? IBQ is difficult. IBQ is very difficult actually. IBQ is the most complicated question that somebody can ask somebody from a passage. Now one of our students was asking me in the morning when we started that, ma'am, is it different from CAT exam? So I told you the passage level is the same. Do you know why? Because in the CAT, majority questions are IBQ. That's why it is difficult. Well, this what, when, who, where, why. In a way, you are right. But when we talk about IBQ, we use a different set of words. Well, not we, the CSAT uses. I will shortly tell you those words. From PBQ, you will get very few questions. You can get, it's your luck also. Sometimes you get more, sometimes less. You don't know that. That UPSC will decide. But out of 30, you can expect about 13, say for example, from PBQ. Remaining 17 can be a mix of TBQ and IBQ. All right. So now, only talking is not important. We need to see by examples and by practice. Agreed? So now, one by one, let's have a look at each of these. I will give you a sample question of a PBQ, passage based question. Solve it. If you can do it, you will do it in CSAT also. Next, I will give you a variety of TBQ. And next, I will give you a variety of IBQ. I will also teach you how will you identify. Now, nobody asked that, but I am telling you very soon you will ask me that. I know. How in the exam will we come to know? How will we identify that a given question is a PBQ or a TBQ or an IBQ? Second thing you will ask me very soon, maybe in half an hour, is it important to understand it is an IBQ, PBQ, or TBQ? The answer to the second question is yes, it is very important. You should be able to identify whether it's an IBQ or TBQ or PBQ. That's very important. Second thing, how will you identify? Please leave it on me. We will come to that. But first, let's begin with the PBQ. I'm going to present you a super easy passage, a short passage. It is followed by a PBQ. Kindly please select the right option and please poll the answer. Here is the question. Please take the poll after reading the passage thoroughly. PBQ is always easy, dear. Don't read more than once. Please don't make that mistake. But when you read, read with focus. All right. The poll results tell us that 79% aspirants have gone with D. Option number D. It is also the right answer. That's really well attempted. Now, in pockets, 6, 9, and 6% respectively have gone to A, B, and C. So now that's okay, no problem. We are just trying to learn. That's okay. Right and wrong don't matter. What matters is that why is D the right answer? Okay. When we say that D is the right answer, we clearly know that this is a PBQ, my dear. Please be careful. It's a PBQ. Whenever you know it's a PBQ, how will you know it's a PBQ? Come back to this. As I said, PPQ are questions that are only based on the supporting idea, not on the main idea. Only on the supporting idea, which means PPQ can be randomly based on any one line from the passage, any one fact of the passage, any one detail of the passage, direct detail. You don't have to really find the answer. It will be there in front of you, direct, open, clear, transparent. Yes, always. That's why it is called a passage based question. There is a reason behind the name. Passage based means the answer is right there in the passage. I don't have to find it. It is there in front of me. I have to just locate it. That's all I have to do. I have to just locate where it is. That's why it's a PBQ. Literally, it is as easy as this one. Always remember one golden talisman that I'm going to give you now. One golden rule. It's not a golden rule, it's just an important tip. Passage based question will never be based on the complete passage. Did you hear me? Did you get my point? Don't miss out on this, dear, please. Passage based question or a PBQ is never ever based on the entire passage. Please don't presume or assume or believe that a PBQ will be based on complete passage. No, it will not be. Even if you don't know the passage, it's fine, because a PBQ will only be based on one line from the passage. The line can be anywhere. For example, in this question, if you see the question, you will come to know that the question is not based on the complete passage. It is not asking you words like gist, crux, purpose of the passage, main idea of the passage. It is only asking you what is the size of library. You haven't read the passage. Even if you haven't read the passage, you know what is the size of library. It means it is asking you some detail from the passage direct, from some line. And now when you read the complete passage, one line after the other, you will come to the last line, and suddenly you will see that the question is matching the last line. Libraries range in size, and immediately you come to know that the question is asking about size, and last line is talking about the size indeed. Libraries range in size from a few shelves of books to several million items. And now, when you see the options, A is not in the passage, B is not at all in the passage. I told you, please answer only on the basis of the passage. Nothing from outside is allowed. B is not mentioned in the passage alphabetically, it's not there. C, in the passage, we are not talking about a college or a school, it is not there. D, match from the last line. It is exactly a copy. They range in size from a few shelf of books to several million items. It's as simple as that, literally. So the last line says it all, and that's why it's the right answer. This is the beauty of a PBQ. Always remember, next time this question should not give you tension that how will I identify a PBQ? Because a PBQ is never based on the entire passage. Then what is it based on? Only some line of the passage. Always one line. And it is direct. You will find the answer directly. Is that sorted? If you can get this correct, you will get it correct even in the UPSC mains CSAT exam. There is no doubt about it. This is a PBQ. Is PBQ clear to everyone? So now that it's clear, wonderful. Let's proceed with the next variety. The most important variety, I told you, TBQ. Yes, dear, it's very important. TBQ, theme-based question. But before that, it's 12. Let's take a 10 minutes break, 15 minutes break if you want. Come back. Let's take up TBQ and then IBQ. Is that okay? Is that okay? Am I being fair with you? So let's come back at say 12:15. Okay, let's come back at 12:15 p.m. We'll take the lecture for one more hour. After 12:15, we'll take a lunch break. You can nicely eat your lunch, but don't sleep after lunch. Mostly students become very, very sleepy after lunch. They're like, I'm talking and they're always like right, left, they're going. So, no, if you're having lunch, have tea, coffee, and come. Those who don't, do something. But please don't sleep. So 12:15, let's come back and let's do the TBQ first, okay? So go, relax, and just come back quickly. See you at 12:15. A very, very good afternoon. Once again, huge welcome to each one of you back to the reading comprehension class. And just before the break, we were talking about how many type of questions are actually asked in the comprehension segment of this exam. As we saw, three varieties. First one, just like you are commenting, quite like the one you have done in your school level, nothing different from that. Passage based question, PBQ. How to identify a PBQ? Any question that is not based on the full passage. No, it is not based on full passage. Then what it is based on? It is based on one or some line of the passage, some particular detail or fact from the passage. That's a PBQ. Okay, they are very scoring and easy. And we saw one example of a library passage. The question asked you the size of library. You saw it in the last line and you selected the right answer accordingly. This is exactly the kind of PBQ that will come in the CSAT exam also. So one category is clear. Coming to the second category, I told you it is moderate to tough. Why? Because these are the TBQs, the theme-based questions. As the name goes, they are trying to ask you the main idea, the main purpose, the intention of the author, the main noun of the passage. Why is this passage written? What's the main lesson that the passage is trying to teach you? That it is trying to ask you, right? So the bigger question is, how will you identify that this question is a TBQ? How will you come to know? So this is how you will find out. Now, a TBQ will always ask you, a TBQ will always be in this format. They will always ask you, one, which of the following options most accurately states the main idea of the passage? Either they will use the word main idea or they will use the word central idea. So, whenever a question is based on the complete passage, now you only see the difference. In the PBQ, the question was not on the full passage, on some detail of the passage. What's the size of a library? What did Gandhiji say about non-violence? Why in India are we focusing on green energy? What is the poverty line in India? All these are PBQs based on some fact of the passage. But here in the TBQ, as you're seeing, there is no fact. The question is covering the whole passage at once. What is the main idea or the central idea of the passage? Which means after knowing the passage, you have to know the main intention or the main noun of the passage, the main purpose of the passage. Second, sometimes they use words like, what is the summary of the passage? What is the summary of the passage? What does the passage sum up to be? Sometimes they ask you, what is the gist or the crux of the passage? Now, the words gist and crux, once again, mean the most important idea, the most important value in a nutshell kind of situation. You know, when you say that, when you say that this is a beautiful case, but the case is not important. There is a very precious stone inside this. That stone is very, very important. So, the main purpose of this box is that stone to keep it safe. So, therefore, gist, crux, summary, main idea, central idea, one more variety of TBQ, which is the principal topic of the passage, or what is the main topic of the passage? Topic. Now, very often you might have noticed that in some exams, whenever they give you a comprehension passage, they ask you, what should be the title of the passage? Even that question is a TBQ. In UPSC, they don't ask you the title, but sometimes they can ask you, what is the main topic of the passage? It's the same thing. A title and a topic, they all talk about the gist or the main purpose of the passage. In the end, sometimes the TBQ comes like, what is the critical message of the passage? So please remember these keywords thoroughly. That whenever a question asks you, main idea, central idea, summary or sum up, topic, central critical message, Gist or crux. If any of these 6 or 7 keywords are being used in a question, it has to be a theme based question. It will be a TPQ. Always remember. Now, what do you need to do here? You need to decode very smartly. You need to decode what is the purpose behind the passage. Why was the passage written? Is that clear? Now, before we see a sample question of a TBQ, I want to ask you a question. And I please want you to listen thoroughly and answer my question for me. If you can answer my question, it means you have understood what is a TBQ. Now, let me tell you, I have a red chair. My red chair is beautiful. It was gifted to me by my sister on my last birthday. She bought it from a handmade store across my house. It was very expensive. That chair makes a slight rocking movement when I sit on it. I often read my books while sitting on it or enjoy a nice cup of tea. It is very memorable because it is a precious birthday gift, and I never allow anybody else to even touch my chair. Out of whatever I just told you, my small story, if I ask you one thing, that what is the main idea behind what I just discussed with you, what will you say? There it is. The red chair. The chair. Think about it. I may have spoke about many things. I may have spoke about I love it. I may have spoke about I don't I'm possessive. I may have spoke about who gave it to me. I may have spoke about whether it makes a rocking movement or whether it's expensive or it's handmade. But why am I telling you all this is the main question? Why? What's my purpose? What's my intention behind whatever I've just done? To tell you about something, and that something is the red chair. So here the main noun is the red chair. When you say the quality of the chair, you are talking about the adjective, the description of the chair. When you say my love for the chair, you are talking about a verb, my feeling for that chair, how I feel, doing action. I love you, I love the chair. When I say it was a birthday gift, once again, you are talking about the adjective. Who gave it? My father gave it, or my sister gave it. It's an adjective or a verb or whatever. But when I ask you that, why am I telling you this? Why did I speak about it? What's my main purpose? The chair itself. The chair itself. Now, the most beautiful thing here is that, please listen carefully. Please listen carefully. If red chair is the main idea, if that's the main purpose behind the passage, it is only one. And it is the main noun, what I'm talking about. Things like beautiful, expensive, handmade, love, possessive, birthday care, rocking movement, all these are descriptions about the chair. Now, the most important value or the attribute or the characteristic of a main idea of any passage is that if you remove the main idea of the passage will get finished. If you remove the main idea, the passage will become meaningless. But if you remove a supporting idea, the passage will not change much. It will not matter. For example, if you remove who gave it to me, if you remove that I love the chair, if you remove this sentence that I don't let anybody touch the chair, if you remove this sentence that it is a handmade chair, still nothing much will change. But if you remove the red chair from here, nothing will remain behind, because that's the main thing we are addressing, the main intention behind what I said. So in any passage, if you remove the main idea, the passage will get damaged. The passage will lose its meaning. Its existence will end. But if you remove a supporting idea, nothing much will happen. Do you understand that? If yes, then please take up this passage in front of you, a very small passage, and please poll the answer. Please read the passage. Please, 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 please poll your answers. If you cannot access the poll, you can type your answers as well. Wonderful. No problem. You can write it here. Correct. Now, this is wonderful. 80% of the candidates have gone for A, and A definitely is the right answer. Now, we do have some minor 7%, 3%, 9% in the order of B, C, and D. Now, that's a little intriguing. And another thing is, not all of us are also attempting. So, most students, many of them did not attempt, which is okay. You can take your time. Now, 80% is a very good response. So yes, definitely A is the right answer. But the question is bigger. Why is A the right answer? More than right and wrong. Why should A be the right answer? Let's sort this out. Now, I told you that any question that's asking you central idea, main idea, crux, gist, summary, topic, or message has to be a TBQ. Yeah. So this is a TBQ because it says what's the central idea of the passage. It's a theme based question fairly. If it's a theme based question, it will always ask you the one main idea of the passage, or why was the passage written, the intention of the author, the main purpose behind the passage. It will always ask you that. Now, here, absolutely. What is the one main noun or the one main purpose behind this passage being given to you? The writer wants to communicate something. He wants to inform you about something. What? What is that thing? What is that main thing which, if you remove, the passage will become meaningless? Let's see. The Holland Tunnel is a roadway under the Hudson River. Okay, we are talking about a tunnel that's going under a river. At the one end of the tunnel is New York, at the other end is New Jersey. All right, these are two cities between which the tunnel is connecting. Almost 50,000 people and cars and trucks pass through it every day. The distance is about a mile and a half. Depending on the time of the day, it can be a long or a short trip. So now, very logically breaking this down, what's that one main noun for which the passage is here? If we remove it, everything will end. If we remove the length, nothing much will change. If we remove the last line, short trip, long trip, nothing much changes. If we remove which cities are getting connected, nothing much changes. If we remove the Holland Tunnel, the passage will become meaningless, because Holland Tunnel is the essence of the passage. It's the backbone here. It's the foundation on which the passage stands, the edifice. It's the main idea about which the author is trying to inform you. It's the main noun about which the passage is written, the main purpose. You cannot remove it. The Holland Tunnel is a roadway. What is Holland Tunnel? So, what the Holland Tunnel is, yes, that's the main idea. Because everything else is a supporting idea. Now, look here. The length is an adjective about Holland Tunnel. It is describing it. The journey, the distance is also an adjective. It is describing it. Absolutely. What is it trying to connect? Which cities is a verb, but about what? About the tunnel. So everything is built around the tunnel. So that's why the tunnel is the most important purpose of the passage, the main noun. Everything else is a verb or an adjective. Now look at option number B, the length of the Holland Tunnel. Now, my dear, when you say B is the right answer, you are saying that this description of the tunnel is the main answer. But the length is just an adjective of the tunnel. Just imagine if there is no Holland Tunnel, then what is the purpose of option number B? Whose length are you talking about? Whose length? Holland Tunnel. The main purpose is not to tell you whether the length is long or short. The main purpose is what is the Holland Tunnel? For example, what is the red chair? What is the red chair? What's the Holland Tunnel all about? This is an adjective, a description about the Holland Tunnel. It's long or whatever. See, what the Hudson River is like. Now, Hudson River, once again, is a supporting idea. It is only described in the context of Holland Tunnel, that Holland Tunnel is under Hudson River. Other things are all about Holland Tunnel, not the Hudson River, right? So it's not the main answer. D, the connectivity between various cities in the US. Now, those who think it's the right answer, listen to me with full focus for at least few seconds. I told you when we began the lecture that, please, my dear, make sure in a comprehension passage of CSAT, don't use your imagination. Don't use your general studies knowledge that since New York and New Jersey are in the US, oh, that's geography. No, don't do that. Please answer only on the basis of the passage. In the passage, we are talking about two cities, New York, New Jersey. We are not talking about any third, fourth, or fifth city. So the word various cities anyway is wrong because we don't know. The passage is not telling us. So please don't assume that it is talking about connectivity between various cities of US. We only know about two cities, New York and New Jersey, not various cities. One. Second, why are these cities getting connected, these two, New York and New Jersey? Because of the Holland Tunnel. So again, it is done in the context of Holland Tunnel, this being the wrong answer. The main purpose, reason, idea, crux, lesson that you learn has to be the Holland Tunnel. It is on the Holland Tunnel that these details are based. So please identify the noun. Don't fall for the adjective. And option number B is an adjective. Option number C is an adjective. Option number D is a verb. None of these are nouns. But the only noun is Holland Tunnel. Is that sorted? Is that clear? Any more doubts? Interesting. That's very interesting observation. Yes, you can have your own identifications. That's critical. That's very good. Any doubts here? Those who went with B, C, and D in particular. Any doubts? See, the main idea is Holland Tunnel only. If Holland Tunnel goes away, what are you left with? Then whose distance is about half a mile? Cars are going on what? Road journey is being done on what? Cities are getting connected through what? What is above the Hudson River? It is Holland Tunnel, it's nothing else. So if you can identify this, and always remember my words now, the day you learn this skill of identifying main idea from supporting ideas, that day, 98% accuracy I can write and give you for CSAT exam. Okay, is that clear? Wonderful. Now, if you're done with this, now before the break, we can proceed with the most mind blowing and the most critical aspect of this exam, and that is your inference based questions. Now, as I said, majority of questions in the CSAT paper are going to be IBQs, inference based questions, and these are difficult questions also. These are difficult because you have to learn a new skill here, and this new skill is actually not a new skill. It is something that you are doing from forever. It's something that you are doing possibly ever since you are, say, 3 years or 3.5 years. You have started doing this, you are doing it even now. It's just that you are doing it automatically, subconsciously. You don't do it logically, you don't do it mindfully, and since because of that you don't realize that you know it, but you know it. I'm not teaching you a new skill. I'm just making you understand that there is a skill that you have. Please polish that skill, cultivate that skill, because it helps you in the CSAT exam. So what is the skill I'm talking about? Now, I am talking about inference making. What is inference making? To begin with, what is the word inference? Now, this word inference means that in life, we always have things that are happening in front of us. Yes. A short interruption there. Okay. You're saying that what is the use of tunnel if there is no connectivity between the cities? But, dear, here we are not talking about the use of tunnel. See, that's what. You cannot assume the question on your own. If the question said, what is the purpose of Holland Tunnel? Listen to me. If the question said, what is the use of Holland Tunnel? Then what you're saying is valid. The main use is connectivity, 100%. But did the question say that? The question said, what is the main idea of the passage? The passage was not talking about the purpose of the tunnel, the use of the tunnel. The passage was talking about Why is this passage written? What is the main idea or the purpose behind the passage? And the purpose was to tell you something about Holland Tunnel. And that's why Holland Tunnel was the main idea. So question is given by the exam. We cannot presume the question. We will do what we are asked to do. All right? So that's why. I hope it's clear now. Apologies for the background. If it doesn't stop, I'll go and complain right now. Okay. So what is inference? Now, inference is simply when in front of you there are certain evidences. Okay. There are certain evidences in front of you. Obviously, you will see them, you will notice them. On the basis of this, you will try to find out some conclusion. And that is known as inference making. Now, to make it more clear to you, I'll give you one example. Please listen to me very carefully, and answer my question as logically as you can. One thing is, don't overthink, don't use imagination, just answer my question honestly. No manipulations allowed. I'll tell you two sentences, answer my question. Sentence number one: there are dark clouds outside. Today, there are dark clouds outside. Statement number two: I am planning to carry an umbrella when I step out of the house. Full stop. Without any manipulation or without any cheating. Honestly, what is that first word or the first picture that comes in your mind? Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. That nobody will deny. And as you're saying very honestly, and I appreciate and respect this honesty, it's all about rainfall, rain. Most people are saying bad weather, storm, or rain. It's rainy, it might rain, it may rain, rain will come, bad weather, raining. But that everybody will agree. That in a moment, without even giving a second thought, without even manipulating, without even wasting your time, you did not do this. Now, one more thing, please don't be happy. You have not done this. It's your brain that has played this on you. Trust me on that. It's not you. If you would have done it, you would have probably thought so much. It's not your creativity or your imagination. It's your brain that has given you this answer, not you. It's the power of your thinking, your logical brain. It said that yes, automatically that picture comes. Umbrella plus dark clouds, conclusion, rainfall. Now, similarly, let me give you another example. Another example, I'll give you two statements. No more manipulation. Very honestly, I just want that one word that strikes you immediately. Let your brain do the work, don't interfere in between. Statement number one: in this house, all the toys, in this house, all the toys and all the diapers, they are just spread around. Statement number two. Statement number two. I can see that there are a lot of small papers just littered around. I can see a lot of papers and things littered around. I can see a lot of packets of diapers and toys just spread around. What's that automatic first word that strikes you? Very good, wonderful, excellent, mind blowing. With all honesty, kids, baby, children, child, messy house, small baby, toddler, all of that. Now, clearly talking, that's the first image that your brain generates for you. It's like an AI. You don't have to do it, it just comes up. Kids, child, something. Or maybe when you give it a second thought, then you might comment animal. Nowadays, even pet lovers are using these things. Maybe it could also be some thief has come or some earthquake has come. These thoughts are there. I know, I'm not saying that you should not think, but these thoughts come later. The very first reaction has to be kids or children. Now, why is this reaction happening? Have you ever thought of that? You will always notice if you start thinking too much, if you start thinking a little too much, then many thoughts will come. Sure, sir, I'll do that. Many thoughts will come automatically. You might think of earthquake has come. You might think thieves have come. You might think the people of the house are lazy. You might think people are shifting out. You might think they have twins or triplet babies. You may think they are pet lovers and they are pet parents. So many doubts will come. I don't deny that. But that will only happen if you think, and think. If you don't allow yourself to wander and think too much, then the sudden generation will be the child, or in that case, the rainfall. Now, this is called inference making. Now, human brains are smart enough, they are excellent sources of making logical conclusion. So, in short, inference is about making a logical conclusion after seeing certain evidences. Whenever human mind is exposed, yes, absolutely. Well said, well decoded. Whenever your mind or whenever your eye sees something and the picture goes to your mind, immediately your mind gets busy in making some logical connections to it. And the answer you get is an inference. It is exactly what a detective has to deliberately do. The job of a detective is to first see evidences, clues, proofs of murder, kidnapping, abduction, theft. Then they join it together. And after that, they are trying to make a link and inference. That's a logical conclusion. You practically have to behave like a detective. You practically have to trust your sixth sense. You practically have to learn how to join the dots to make a logical conclusion. But the word logical is very important here. Conclusion anybody can make, but logical conclusion only a knowledgeable and smart brain will make. How do you differentiate a conclusion from a logical conclusion? Now, one more example. I'm not asking you anything, I'm telling you what an example from my own side. Now, for example, whenever I step out early in the morning, say tomorrow I leave for office, and as soon as I'm outside on the road, suddenly I see, or maybe even you can see, 40, 60 people have gathered at the other side of the road. Noise is coming, clamor is going on, police is standing. I'm just watching. I'm clueless. I don't know. I just came out. I began my day. As soon as I see it, I start getting multiple ideas. My brain becomes hyperactive. I may think accident. I may think police investigation. I may think crime. I may think, somebody died. I may think a communal violence is about to erupt. Maybe some procession was going on, riots, rally, protest. All these come in my mind. But have you ever noticed one thing? All these will be logical conclusions that my mind is trying to make. My mind doesn't know the truth. Nobody has told me. It is my interpretation of the reality. I'm trying to create a logical conclusion on the basis of what I am seeing with my eyes. I don't know the truth, but I will only think logically. If I don't think logically, the possibilities are endless. Meteor has fallen down, asteroid fell down, movie shooting is going on, party will start soon, dinosaur has attacked, cold age is about to begin, police is going to do some nice road show. Am I mad that I will think all that? Am I crazy? No, I'm not. So that's why I'm not going to let my brain make illogical and stupid conclusions. If I need an answer, I will only make logical and intelligent assumptions or conclusions because I have not proven it yet. I'm just assuming, but logically assuming. So, this is the art of making an inference. Whenever human mind is exposed to a new environment, you will always try to make assumptions, but logical ones. You will not make stupid assumptions. Going in a flight, if there is a turbulence, automatically you will believe it's cloudy weather, or you might believe that is something wrong with the engine. Now, very few people will actually go to the extent of believing there is a hijack going on or aliens have attacked. Not really. You would not do that unless you are just joking with somebody. On a serious note, your mind will only stick on logical conclusion. Similar is true of a hoarding, you know. Similar is true of you being in a party 1 a.m. in the night. You have informed at home and still your mother calls multiple number of times. The first thing that comes is somebody is sick, health is bad, some surprise relative has come, theft has happened, some problem, they need something badly, they need me to be there, something is not right. Your brain will start assuming because you know the background, you know how your place is, you know you have informed them. You will not think stupid things, right? That IT income tax raid happened. You will not assume that earthquake is about to come. Obviously, they are going to disown me, my parents. You won't do that. Automatically, you will think logically. They are angry, they are in a pain, something is there, they need me, right? Yes. So that is the whole thing. Unless it's something usual. If it's unusual, you will think so much. So always remember, whenever you are exposed to an unknown reality, human brain automatically starts joining the dots, seeing the evidences, and then it tries to read and reach on the most logical, most valid assumption. Or you can call it conclusion. This is the inference making art. What you just did when you said rainfall, when you said a baby. In that case, it could be, but that was a TBQ. Yes, very good. So now let your mind assume what it has to, but you will focus on the logical assumptions. Whenever I say that aptitude test is about dedication and focus, that's what I want you to learn. Now, PBQ is easy. TBQ is about practice, but IBQ is about behavioral change. IBQ is about the art of learning how to focus. A human mind which is distracted and diverted all the time can never answer an IBQ, because rather than making logical assumptions, you will get lost in illogical assumptions. Now, UPSC passages are serious passages. Most of them come with a serious theme behind them. They will always ask you to make a logical assumption. As I said, the first step is to first identify the main idea, TBQ, and then come to the logical conclusion. If this is the main idea, then this is the most logical conclusion I will make based on the evidences from the passage. So, right now, and always in future, from this point onwards, 12:50 p.m., remember my words. Every passage is like a set of evidences presented to you. It is not an English language passage. It is a game of words. I will give you. Every passage is a set of evidences given to you. You will look at these evidences most objectively without being biased. And then you will try to connect the dots by reaching out to the most logical conclusion that you can make, just like you did in the case of rainfall, umbrella, and you did in the case of baby, and I did in the case of crowd and the phone call from home. Remember these examples? These were all logical conclusions. That's the thing you have to do here. Make an inference. Is that clear? Is that clear? Okay, we'll come to that. A very good question coming up. How will I identify that this is an IBQ? There is a strategy for that also. It's coming right here. You will see that a majority of questions in the CSAT exam will ask you very weird kind of questions. Only UPSC aspirants know these. If you show it to an outsider, they will collapse. Oh, what is this? So IBQ will always ask you, what can be deduced from that passage? Okay, done. What can be deduced from the passage? Deduce against means logical conclusion. If a question is asking you what can be deduced from the above passage, it's an IBQ. Second, if a question asks you what does the passage try to suggest, it is an IBQ. If a question asks you what is the main implication of the passage, an implication means imply. Imply or implication means inference. An inference means to draw a logical conclusion after watching some things in front of you. Fourth, and the most popular one, it may be new for you, don't get scandalized. You have to learn to be familiar with this word from today onwards. It's called logical corollary. I will break this down for you. What is a logical corollary? Now, logical is something which you use your intelligence into, something that uses your logic and your rationale. Rationale again is your intelligence. What is a corollary? A corollary is a conclusion. Okay, so IBQ will also ask you what is the most logical corollary of this question. Apart from that, it can sometimes also ask you what is the most crucial is important, logical, simply inference that you can make of this passage. This is more direct. Sometimes it can ask you from the options, what does the author agree to? Most likely, what will the author agree to from among the given options? That is also an IPQ. Now, is that clear? How will you remember this? Because you are an UPSC aspirant, you have to remember this. There is no alternative that we have. And it's so easy. Anybody can remember this. If you read it 2-3 times, you will remember it. When you do the practice with me, you will again remember it. Don't worry. Most of the questions which are based on IBQ will always ask you standard words. Important implication of the passage. What does the passage suggest? What's the most important logical corollary of the passage? What is the most important deduction from the passage? Or what does the author agree to? If all these words are used, it is an IBQ. Exactly. Point number one. What can be deduced from the passage? Deduction means what conclusion can you reach out to? After reading the evidences from the passage, now once again, let me tell you, a lot of students who do not take the lectures, they always believe, a lot of aspirants, they still don't know. They feel that passages are like stories. They go, they read the story, and then they see the question and they get a current, AC DC current, direct current, DC they get. They are like, the passage was a story? And what is this? What is the question? What is logical corollary? And then becomes nervousness. They get panicky and the panic attack comes. They don't know what is a logical corollary. They don't understand what's a deduction. And then people complain that UPSC CSAT is a tough exam. Nobody understands what they ask. Why? Because we have never tried to understand. It's very easy if you ask me. It's all about being familiar with the pattern. That's why in my lectures, majority of the time I take to first break down the paper itself, to first understand the needs of the exam, and then I come to the practice always. Because practice people can do alone also. But the most important thing is, do we even know what do we have to do really in the exam? A lot of people have myths about comprehension. They think that comprehension means read a passage and answer a question. It's not like that, not at all. One thing is, this is not even a proper comprehension. This is verbal ability. It's proper pakka reasoning. Second thing is, passages here are not English words. They are all about a set of evidences given to you. They are picked up randomly from various sources. They have no background or introduction. And that's why it is critical that we know how to understand the need of the paper. Is that clear now? So now I know it's heavy when you learn too many things at the same time. I understand that weekend batches can be a little rough on my students because too many things in one day is not a very good thing. I know that. But I also know that if we keep revising and if we keep discussing, these things can be absorbed quite properly. It's not very difficult either. So, whatever we have done since morning, just keep it in your mind, and go easy on them. One thing at a time, one step at a time. If there's anything that is really bothering you, you ask me. It's my duty to answer you, not once, but as many times as you want. Okay? So, now if this is an inference based question, this is how you will identify that. Always remember once and for all that IBQ will not give you the answer directly. Be prepared for it. Be prepared for it. In IBQ, you will not get the answers directly from the passage. Never ever. If you are expecting, most of my students do that. They see the question, they get frustrated, and then they become very angry. Ma'am, this question is not from this passage. It's not good. I'm like, sweetheart, it's not about good or bad. Why do you expect an IBQ to behave like a PBQ? PBQ is a PBQ, it will give you direct answer. You can expect that. If it's not giving, complain to me. But IBQ and TBQ will not give you a direct answer. How can we even expect that? You shouldn't expect this. It's wrong to expect that. You are not a child. Come on. It's an aspirant attitude that you need to have. PBQ, TBQ. Sorry, TBQ, IBQ, we will have to find out the answer. Now, how will we find out is a different thing. That's the golden rule. Let that be. But as of now, remember, if these keywords are coming, it is an IBQ. And in IBQ, you have to find the logical conclusion. No, it's not Sunday only. We have weekend batches also. We have weekday batches also. It depends on what batch you are enrolled into. Okay. So now, if you know that an IBQ looks like this, if you know what an IBQ is, if you are smart enough to understand that IBQ is about finding logical conclusion like a detective, will you allow me to throw a bomb on you? No, I'm not a terrorist, not literally. A UPSC bomb only I will throw, not a real one. Should I? Now, for IBQ, I am not going to give you a sample question. Now, enough education from 10 a.m. 2.5 hours are over. I think we are matured enough to experience the reality. Let's have the reality check now. So for IBQ, I will give you a sample question that is not imaginary, that has come from UPSC PYQ. Please look at the question. One more disclaimer. I don't expect you to find the right answer. Please don't misunderstand me. I will not expect you to give me the right answer until I have taught you the golden rules. I will not do that. But once I tell you the golden rules, my expectations will also increase. I will become greedy and greedy and greedier with every passing minute after giving you the golden rule. But before that, No expectations from my side. See the question. If you can do it, brilliant. If you can't do it, no problem. One more thing. A lot of my students tell me that, ma'am, you say that we should not take more than 40 seconds per passage. You know what? I take 10 minutes per passage. And then tears come. You are being unfair on yourself. In the beginning, you will take 5 minutes, 10 minutes. After that, slowly, you will take 2 minutes. After that, by the end of today's lecture, maybe you take just 1.5 minutes. By next Saturday, if you practice, you will take less than 1 minute. It is a progress which comes slowly. It is not a magic. Okay? So be patient with yourself. Ready for it? Here comes the bomb. UPSC CSAT 2018. Have a look at the passage. Take your time. Read. If you can answer, go ahead. If you can't answer, I will help you. Wonderful. That's amazement, really. 44% candidates have gone with A. That's nothing short of amazing, really. Very good. B, 27%. D, very close. 25%. And C, 3%. Now, I'm really happy about two things. One thing is majority goes with the right answer. Second thing is very minimal. Three have gone with the worst possible option. Again, that's a very positive news. Now, B and D are the most confusing ones. So, anyways, very well done. Hats off to all of you. Without the golden rules, without any support system, you were able to nail, I mean, many of you, this question. And others also thought very logically. They read the passage. I'm nothing short of proud of you. Now, having said that, let's see what went wrong and why was A correct. Now, if you see this passage, as I said, it is a typical Pakka CSAT passage, which means that it should be a set of evidences given in front of you. Now, what was the question? Which of the following out of A, B, C, D is the most logical corollary of the passage, as I explained you in the previous slide? A logical corollary means that it's the most logical conclusion that you can draw from the passage. And the word means it's an IBQ, inference based question. So let's first see the passage. The passage says many pathogens, organisms that cause pathology, bacteria, virus, fungal, protozoa, disease causing organisms that cause foodborne illness are unknown, which means that we don't know about most of the organisms which are causing disease. Food contamination, adulteration can happen at any stage, from farm to plate, all right, because food goes in agriculture farm, it grows there. From there, it is sent out to warehouse, cleaning, packaging, shop, and then it comes to your kitchen and then to your plate. It's a big circle. Since most cases of food poisoning are unreported, we don't know how many food poisonings happen really. The true level, the true spread, the true popularity of global foodborne illness that you get after eating food sickness, food poisoning is unknown. It's a typical passage from Health and Nourishment. Improvements in international monitoring have led to greater public awareness. Yet, there is a problem. The rapid or the quick globalization of food production increases consumers' vulnerability. When you're vulnerable to something, you face the consequences much more, much higher. You are more weak towards it. You're more sensitive towards it. Thank you so much. You're more sensitive towards it. That's such a sweet thing to say. I really honor this. Thank you. Thank you so much. By making the food harder to regulate and trace. Last line, very conclusive. We have the world on our plates. Metaphorically, today we can have the food from anywhere in the world on our plate, right? From Italian pasta to probably Russian salad to probably Mexican something to Indian to Chinese, whatever. Entire food is there on our plate. So much variety you have. That says an official of World Health Organization. Now, breaking down links by links, clues by clues. One thing, as I said, to answer an IBQ, the first thing is to understand the main purpose of the passage. What's the main purpose of the passage? The main purpose of the passage is that agreed globalization has given you many options to eat and choose from. At the same time, it has also made you more vulnerable because when food is globalized, you cannot regulate the true reality and extent of food poisoning. That's the main purpose. Now, coming back to linking, first line says food contamination happens anywhere from farm to plate. Maybe the farm is in Argentina and the plate is in Bombay. It is globalization. Maybe the farm is in Japan and the plate that we're talking about belongs to, say, Mexico. Anywhere it's possible to rotate from here to there. So when there is so much circulation of food, that's the first thing we draw logical conclusion. Second, rapid globalization of food has increased the consumer's likelihood of getting more disease. It is making consumer weaker and more vulnerable to disease and infection. It is very hard to trace and monitor global food production and spread. Third thing, fifth is the most important one. We have the world on our plate. We have the world on our plate, but because of that, we are also more sensitive towards food problem. Now let's come to the options. A, with more options for food come more risks. Absolutely. That's exactly the main essence of the passage. That's the most logical conclusion. That while globalization has given you many options to eat, but at the same time, it has also given you more risk, and that's exactly what the passage was saying. B, food processing. I told you very clearly, dear, in the very beginning, that if there is something that the passage has not spoken about, it will definitely not be the answer. You cannot assume anything from your side. You cannot imagine. You cannot add your general knowledge. You cannot go outside the scope of the passage. The answer has to be taken from the passage. Now, you tell me honestly, all those who have selected B, any of you who thought it's B, is food processing mentioned in the passage? Tell me where it is. If you can see it, show me. It's not there. Food processing per se has not been mentioned in the passage as a word. We are talking about food that has become difficult to monitor and regulate. Food that is circulating from one place to another. But we are not talking about food processing. It's a different thing altogether. Processed food happens when you do packaged food, when you add preservatives and all sort of chemicals into it, like chips and cold drinks and chocolates and stuff. But that's not what the passage is saying. No, we aren't talking about food processing industry. It was not there. C, anyways, minimally you believe it's C. We should depend on locally produced food only. That's not what the passage means to say. Globalization has already started. How can now you go back and depend only on locally produced food? It doesn't work like that. The passage is also not indicating that only eat local food. It's too much to say. D, globalization of food production should be curtailed. Again, you got trapped in the words. Again, you got trapped in the words. You read the option, but you never focused on the word production. Just like in the second option, you never focused on the word food processing. You saw food and you jumped. Globalization of food should be stopped, curtailed is controlled or stopped. If it is stopped, we will not be vulnerable, problem sorted. Did you read the word production? Is the passage only talking about food production? The passage is only talking not about production, the passage is also talking about circulation. Maybe the problem is not only production, the problem is also circulation and spreading of the food, because you cannot monitor to what extent is food circulating around the world. And it says it can happen any stage from farm to plate. If farm is about production, to the plate it comes through distribution. So you cannot give too much second thought on it. Really, this is not the main idea of the passage, and plus we are not talking about only food production. So therefore the only logical option here is answer number A, which is the valid answer. How was your experience? Now, enlighten me, my dear. How was your experience after the first jhatka of CSAT, after the first bomb of CSAT? Exactly. You loved it with a pinch of salt. With more options for food come more risks. If you match this with the passage, you will find it absolutely matching with the passage. Since most cases go unreported, the true extent of foodborne illness is not known. Rapid globalization of food has increased consumers' vulnerability. Last line. We have the world on our plates. We have options, I know, because of globalization, but because of that, it is also giving us risk, right? That's why A is the right answer. Yeah? Yeah? Is that true or not? See, this is a typical CSAT question where the passage may not be tough, but the questions are like, something has happened, but we still don't know what has happened. It's like a workout in the gym. The day you pick up weights, nothing happens. The next day when you get up, you understand kya hua tha, what had happened with me. It's something like that. That's the main skill that you have to learn, dear. For everyone, for each one of my students, the most important skill that we need to cultivate in this platform really for CSAT is to learn how to differentiate the main idea, the main purpose from the secondary ideas. I always say that. The day you learn it, magic will happen, but it will not happen overnight. It needs some practice. So just be patient. Take it easy. That's fine. That's fine. No problem. All IBQs are trickies, but that's okay. That's totally okay. So that brings me now to a solution. See, if I expect that each one of you will keep on practicing such IBQs with me and then go to the exam, what is the purpose of this class? Is this class only for bursting some myths about RC? Is the class only for telling you big, big things and not doing anything to help you? No. The class is to also help you in situations like these, to save your time and to save your energy. How will we do that? Now, we will do that by introducing you to my esoteric and my super secret 4.5 golden rules. Now, the time has come after this reality check that I will give to you the rule number one. The golden rule number one. This will make your work easier. So, should I proceed with it? Or should I make more suspense and give it after the break? I love creating suspense, by the way. All right. So, what we'll do is when we joined the lecture after the little short break, we did it at, as far as I tracked the time, it was 12:18. So, let's also today take the break at 1:18. Okay. Let me give the rule number one and then we will take the break so that I will leave you in half suspense. Okay. The next lecture is, I think, my dear, on 23rd. That's the last lecture, I believe, morning, but I think you will be notified about the timing. Right. So now let's come back to the golden rule number one, and that will again show you that how can inference based questions be handled more easily. Now before that, somebody asked a very beautiful question here. It's an amazing question. The candidate says, what's the main difference between the main purpose or the main idea of the passage and the logical conclusion? They both are seeming similar to me. You're not wrong in a way. They are very overlapping. When you identify the main purpose or the main idea of the passage, for you it becomes very easy to find the conclusion. The only difference is the main idea is already hidden in the passage by the author. You have to find it out. The main intention behind which the passage was created. While The logical conclusion is something that has not been given anywhere in the passage. It is not even hidden in the passage. It's not there anywhere. It is a future prediction that you are going to make about the passage. After understanding the main idea, now I know this is the main idea. Now, after understanding this is the main idea, what can be the best possible solution? Generally, the conclusion is solution oriented. Generally, the conclusion is always about something that's going to happen next. So that is where it is different, you know. A conclusion is always the end of something. So you, after understanding the main idea, will now create a kind of logical end to the passage. Oh, now this should be the most logical conclusion I can make after reading the passages. Is that clear? It will be more clear as we proceed. So with this, let me quickly proceed with the golden rule number 1. And according to the golden rule number 1, it's a popular rule also. If in any passage, listen very carefully, if in any passage the given options A, B, C, D, any of these options, if these contain any extreme words, then the option will 99% be wrong. The accuracy and the applicability, the success rate of rule number 1 is 99%. I will not lie and say 100%. It's not true. It is 99%. I will also tell you what happens in that 1% rare situation. But to begin with, let's understand that if any answer option has an extreme word into it, used there, A, B, C, D, any extreme word, then that answer option is 99% wrong. What are extreme words? Now, as the name says, extreme words are such words of English or Hindi, in case of Hindi, that give you a very, very extreme assumption from the passage, which generally cannot be true. What are these words? These are only, always, always, never, never, none, or no one, same thing. None or no one. Next, all. Last, every. There is another one with it attached, each. All these are referred in CSAT as extreme words. They give you a very extreme sentiment of something that cannot happen, something that's too silly to presume. Once more, only, always, never, no one or none, all, each, and every. These set of 6 words are called extreme words. If they are used anywhere in A, B, C, or D, wherever they are used, that option has to be wrong. 99% you can bank on this. You can depend on this to save your time and energy. Is that clear? Now, what happens in case 1% this rule fails for me? Now, in case 1% this rule will or should fail, it will happen only in the case of a PBQ. Shall it fail? Although it will not, but what if it does? Rarely. Then that failure will be because of a PBQ. And in a PBQ, that happened in the case of GS1. In the case of GS paper 2, generally the pattern doesn't change so much. Until now, it hasn't really changed. The pattern was changed in GS paper 1. For those who used the trick in GS paper 1 could have suffered, because in this year, they have completely removed the choice of selecting options. Okay, but for GS paper 2, it's still all right. So 99% valid, 1% invalid. So that case, it will be a PBQ. And then in that case, the answer will be directly available in the passage itself. So you will come to know, because PBQ is easy to answer. Is that sorted? Now, if we start using this rule, and if we utilize this rule and take it to the last question that we solved from 2018 CSAT, and we apply it here, we will come to know, has it helped us in some way at all? So please have a look at the options. A. Option number A has no extreme word. What about option number B? All. All is an extreme word. So we know that option number B can be removed and eliminated. Let's come to option number C. Option number C says only. So again, option number C can be easily eliminated. Yeah. CSAT is a part of prelims. CSAT is also sometimes called as GS paper 2 of prelims. Why? Because prelims has two exams. One is GS1, which is your GK GS current affairs combined together, as you know. The second is GS paper 2, referred to as CSAT because it is an aptitude paper. Is that clear? Is that clear? Having said that, we can easily eliminate option number B and option number C. It saves our time. Now coming to option number D and A. So we are left just with two choices in that case. No, only one CSAT paper. Only one CSAT paper. That is prelims paper 2. Is it sorted? Do you think this rule helps you in the case of a situation where there are extreme words used? Yes. A majority of CSAT questions can be tackled by using this one rule. Now, before we take the break, I request you to do one question, one PYQ with me by using the golden rule number 1. You can just try using the rule so that you don't forget it. After the break, we will proceed with the rule number 2. No, it's not compulsory. Lunch break we will just take after one question. Let's take it at 1:30 if that's okay with you. From 1:30 to 2:30 you can have a nice long lunch break. After 2:30 we'll resume. Is that fine? Sure. The golden rule number 1 says if there is any question of CSAT comprehension, it is followed by ABCD options. In any of these options, if there is an extreme word used such as only, all, always, never, none, and each or every, then we please eliminate that option because it will be 99% wrong. It has to be incorrect. Try it for yourself, apply it for yourself, see if it works for you. Here is a passage coming from 2015, a very short passage. Please read on. Please read on peacefully, carefully, and solve the question. Can we move to the options? Have all of you read the passage? Just once thoroughly is more than enough, but with honesty and with full dedication. So let's proceed with the options. A super sweet short passage here. That's the question for you. Please identify the question for me. For every question from now on, we will identify. Very good. The main purpose of the passage is flamingos. Excellent job. Very well said. But what's the question, please? Identify the question first. Very good. This is a rule protocol that we shall follow. We must identify. Logical corollary. Yes, it's an IBQ. Now please take the board. Please use the rules, but also use the rules with thinking, not just blindly. Once you come to know the right answer, study it, analyze it. Why was it the right answer is equally important to understand. Don't use the rule mindlessly. Use it mindfully. That's when it works maximum for you. If you are not convinced with the rule, please question, cross question. 81% people go with C. Correct answer. Very well done. 5% B and D, 10% A, which means there is a slight issue with understanding the rule. Quite well done there. Now, yes. As I said, in this exam, we will use 4.5 golden rules. We already spoke about rule number one. The rule number one says if in any answer options in a question there are extreme words like this being used, then that answer should be eliminated immediately. For example, we saw the passage from previous year and now 2015 passage, main idea flamingo, rest are all supporting ideas. Option number A, mass nesting in all species. Now, all is an extreme word, so we can easily eliminate option number A. B, only birds have the capacity. Only. Again, only is an extreme word. Option number B eliminated. D, all species of birds. Option number D eliminated. So, in less than 15 or 10 seconds, we can have accuracy by saying that C is the valid answer because option number A, B, and D, they are all using extreme words like all, only, none, each, every, never, always. And these are prohibited. They should not be used in the right answer. Is that clear now? Do you get the rule now? One more thing I want to tell you. Please also see the logic behind rule. Please use your own logic also. Don't blindly follow the rules told to you by any teacher on the planet. You have every right to cross question and you should cross question until convinced. For example, just by using extreme words, we are saying that rule A is wrong. But why is it A wrong? A is wrong also because passage is only talking about one species of bird called flamingo. That's the main idea also. Is the passage talking about other species of birds? Parrot, pigeon, or all other sort of birds like penguins and cassowaries or whatever. No, turkeys. No, we are only talking about one species of bird, that is flamingo. Then how can the option say all species of bird it is happening? The passage is not talking about that. Similarly, B, only birds have the capacity to develop social behavior. Is the passage telling you that? Anywhere did the passage say that only birds have social behavior, humans don't have, other mammals don't have? That's very silly. That's not something the passage is saying. That's why it's wrong. D, all species of birds can make creche or safety net or a daycare for their chicks to teach them social behavior and loyalty. Is it true? We don't know. It might be, it may not be. The passage is not talking about any other species but only one, flamingo. So let's not deviate. We have to follow the passage blindly, like somebody commented very beautifully. We have to be deaf and dumb apart from what the passage tells us. Exactly that you have to do. So therefore, D is also extreme word. C is totally logical. Why? Now look at the beauty of option number C. Look at this carefully. Social behavior in some species of birds like flamingo increases the odds of survival. Odds of survival, possibilities of survival, chances of survival in an unsafe world. Yes, it is matching with the passage. True, it is an unsafe world because they are living in the wild. Wild is jungle where nobody is safe. Yes, they are doing social behavior. The first line says they are social and extremely loyal. They even dance in group. And parents love their children. When they go to get food, they leave the children with other people in a safety net so that they can survive for a longer period of time. If they don't keep their children in a creche, somebody will come and eat them up. It's a jungle. So that's why the social behavior of these flamingos creates an environment where the children of these flamingos can survive for a long time. Why? Because they are taken care of by others. And why? Because they are all friends with each other. They are social in such a pretty way, such a beautiful way. Option number C has completely summarized the whole passage for you, making it the right answer. Is that clear? Any doubts here? Sure, we will do that also. Is that sorted now? No? Is there any doubt, any question, any worries, any queries, any considerations? No, more is not an extreme word. No, no, no. Extreme words are only six with the list that we just spoke about. You please need to kind of keep them in your mind always. All right. Now, this is just the first rule. There are many more rules coming your way. And when you do all of them together, the accuracy improves tremendously. But the beauty is not just in knowing the extreme words. The beauty is in applying them to the PYQs and then solving. The wonderful thing about CSAT exam is that although the passages are slightly tough, but the nature of the passages is always the same. Generally, the type of question will always be three: PBQ, TBQ, IBQ. Same method we will use for every passage. Same logical conclusion has to be taken. Same main idea has to be identified. So the trick is always the same. And the nature of the passage is very repetitive. Every year it's very repetitive. So that's why it helps you. Not really, because the thing is that UPSC cannot like randomly change. See, unless they stop giving you passages, it's a different scenario. But if they are giving you passages, they cannot afford to do anything in terms of changing it. Because what else will they do? This is the most difficult module, the most difficult format of CSAT, of comprehension that any exam has ever seen. If they make it easy, good for you. They cannot make it more tough than this. I mean, I myself admit that 2020 CSAT comprehension was the toughest comprehension I personally have ever seen and taught in my life. What more can they do? What more can they do? So we are safe anyway. Yeah, that is obviously there. So in all the passages, you will not find extreme words. It's not like every passage will have them. If not rule number one, rule number two is applicable to every passage under the in the planet, under the sun. It is always available and always applicable. 100%. It's a 100% accuracy rule. Similarly, rule number half, 95% accuracy. Rule number three, say about 85% applicability. So there are many more rules and we'll all use them together. So don't worry, there are things that are coming up. So fine, with this, you can have now a good break, have your lunch, eat light. If you are a coffee person, take some. Tea person, take some. Green tea person, take some. Please don't sleep after the lunch because the most important things do come after the lunch only. Okay, so enjoy your break and thank you for being such a lovely, engaging audience until now. And take rest. No, no, that easily. If I open the suspense, then what is the use? Slowly, slowly. Okay. Take a break. Take care. I'll see you at 2:31 p.m. and we'll come back and continue the lecture. All right? Enjoy the break. Thank you.